What's up guys, Boogie back again. Welcome back to the channel. Guys, today I got a couple of great videos I'm going to be going through with you guys. So much to learn, so much to talk about. Man, it's crazy in the dating streets as always. Nothing new, but I've seen a trend of women who have been holding other women accountable. And as you guys know, it's very rare. But as you can see from this first video, a mom was talking about how women these days, from my experience, she has noticed that women, single moms, raise bad sons. So they try to raise their sons into son husbands, and usually those guys turn into monsters or emotionally unavailable, whatever the issue is, but they don't raise them well because they don't have fathers in the household. So there's so many videos I'm going to be going through with you guys. Obviously, I don't finish most videos, and for that reason, I put the links down below so you guys can go to all the content creators, whether it's TikTok, content creators, YouTube. So all the links to their channels, if you guys want to go finish the videos, will be down in the links below. And don't forget to subscribe. And without further ado, man, let's get into it. Let's go.
Can I say something? So I am a boy mom, and I have girlfriends that it makes me cringe sometimes the way I hear them talk to their sons, right? And I have told my girlfriends, I said, you're creating a monster without even really knowing it, because the first level of disrespect most young men feel come from their mother first, and it's really sad because I think someone up here said they feel like they have to be the mother and the father to the kid. So, it's the way some women talk to their boys, and it's so disrespectful. And then I see that child, because he has to endure that because it's his mother, he's not going to disrespect her most of the time. So when he becomes a grown man, then he feels like no woman will ever talk to me the way I was spoken to. And then they have this hard exterior, which I have noticed. I'm only speaking to what I've experienced. So if it doesn't apply, please let it fly. But I have seen young men that had to put up with their mother's mouth when they were in the mother's home. And then when they get out of the home, now no woman will ever disrespect them like that. And I think it's sad because it's like Frederick Douglass say, it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken adults.
That's a profound statement. It's easier to build strong children than to repair broken adults, because the damage is already done. And she's speaking about single mother households, right? Where the single moms disrespect the boys or the sons in the house, and the sons can't fight back. So they are used to the toxicity. They're used to the the craziness. So in other words, even when they grow up relating to other women, so if a woman disrespects him, he's used to it. That's why you guys have seen so many times men are in bad relationships, and you're asking himself, why does he let his woman talk to him like that? Why does he let his woman disrespect him like that? But that's because most likely his mom used to talk to him like that. Now, if some may be lucky, they may go to therapy, they may get some positive male role models who may teach them, hey, listen, that's not how a relationship is. That's not how a woman should talk to you. That's not a positive relationship when you're going back and forth with a woman. But some guys are very unlucky, and they carry on that trauma, the generational trauma of thinking a relationship is where a woman talks to you whichever way with bad attitude. The whole thing of when women say men can't handle us, or men should handle us the way we are, comes from that exact thing that she talked about, where single moms talk to their sons so bad, and then the sons grow up emotionally unintelligent, and it's crazy.
You understand what I'm saying? So you have to get these babies right when they're young, and preferably in a house where a father can teach them how to be a man, because we can't teach boys how to be men. We can't do it no matter how we try. We can teach them how to be soft and how to be gentlemen and all that stuff like that, but we cannot teach a boy how to be a man. We don't know how to speak to that because we're not men. And I just think we need to do a better job of allowing these children's fathers to be a part of their lives, because a lot of women, not all, get mad at the father and don't want the father around the child, and then that becomes an issue as well.
Yeah, because they use the kids to get back at the father. Because trust me, guys, not every man who's on child support, not every man who has visitations, not every man who's dragged to child support or family court doesn't want to be a part of his kids. It's because some moms, some single moms, hate the father so much, so they use the kids to hurt the father. They use the kids to control the father, to do what she wants. They use the kids, especially when the father moves on with another woman who gives him peace. So they use the kids against the father. Now, sometimes if the guy is lucky, once the kids become 18 and start questioning, why was my father not there? Why was my father not doing ABCD? They may question and then they get the answers and then they actually turn to hate the mom. It's like, why were you keeping my father away from me? It happens all the time, man. When kids grow up and they realize the mothers were using them as bait against the father, they start to hate the mom. But by that time, the damage is done. They have lost so much time with their fathers.
Now you have this child around you constantly because you're pissed off at the father. We have to separate emotions from raising a child. Just because he don't like you don't mean he doesn't love his child. And that's what I mentor young ladies, because it's so important to me. I want to see our girls do better. They call me auntie. So if I'm going to be an auntie, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to try to keep you from banging yourself upside the head so that you can go off and be better, because each one got to reach one. That's how I feel. And this is a sensitive topic for me because children, they don't get to choose their parents. They get handed what they get handed. And sometimes It's not a good thing, and women are very emotional. We are driven more by emotion. And when things go bad with the dad, we tend to take it out on the children. It's a lot. And like I said, I'm not saying all, but that single mother thing that we be so proud of, I don't need you, I could do it by myself. No, you can't, because your emotions won't let you. And when you get pissed off because you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulder, then your children suffer. And I'll land right there.
Exactly. Man, shout out to Boston's finest. Any woman who holds other women accountable is a queen to me. We throw out this whole queen thing every now and then. Women like to call themselves queens, but for me, the real queens are the women who all hold other women accountable. Because trust me, they are going to call her a pick me. Other women are going to call her a pick me. Other women are going to attack her character just for speaking the truth, just for holding them accountable. Because it's already bad enough if a man tries to hold a woman accountable. They're going to cancel you and say all kinds of shit. But when a woman holds other women accountable, I love it. It just gives her queen energy. It makes her more beautiful because it's rare. It rarely happens. So when it happens, we have to celebrate the woman. And man, shout out to this lady.
Exactly, boss man. I agree with everything you said.
So let me just chime in real quick. And I just want to say this towards the topic. Everybody made good points, by the way. But I do want to say this because I know people try to talk about how the men are leaders and how upbringing impacts their ability to lead. But what I will say to that is, if we're going to hold men accountable for how they lead, we also have to be honest about who taught them. You know what I'm saying? How to handle emotions, conflict, and women. And that usually starts with the mother. A lot of these so-called toxic traits in men, they're not coming from their fathers. They're coming from being over-mothered, emotionally manipulated, or raised without structure. So what I do want to say to everybody out there in the chat, if you want better men, you got to raise boys in homes where the woman respects the man so the boy learns how to respect himself.
Facts.
Because I strongly believe that if the boy was able to witness the father figure, his father, whoever is in the household, if he's able to witness the man being respected by the women, it indirectly impacts his ability to respect his own self. And I'll land right there.
Yeah, it's like if the boy saw, because it's one thing to have a toxic single mom. I mean, there's no father, so all he knows is a couple of men coming in and out of the house, seeing the mom dating multiple men, and the mom being toxic towards him, raising her voice, and sometimes even making him a son husband, making him the man of the house. But it's even worse to me. It's even worse because just because the dad is in the house doesn't mean he's setting a good example for the son. Sometimes the dad will be in the house and then the mom and the father are always fighting, but the kids are watching. So to them, the kids grow up watching the toxic environment between the mom and the dad, and they think that's what a healthy relationship looks like. When the mom is disrespecting the dad or the dad is disrespecting the mom, and they're going back and forth. So the son is growing up seeing this dysfunctional relationship, and once he goes out in the world, guess what type of relationships he's going to seek out? He's probably going to seek out women who are dysfunctional the way his mom was dealing with dad. So if the dad was being disrespected by the mom and he didn't do anything, guess what? He's more likely to be disrespected by women in his relationships as well when he grows up as an adult. So he's right.
If I could just add to that, I don't disagree with that, but I will add to it. It is how the single mother raises their son, but it is that coupled with every man that boy encounters, but also the boys that they encounter in school as well. That is how they learn how to manage their emotions and interact with women and people. It is both. It can be very good or very bad, or good and bad, but they are encountering people, they're encountering men outside the home. It may not be the father's influence, but it is a man's influence somewhere, because you're not learning all of that from your mother. You are definitely, it's coupled with every other man that you come in contact with as well.
Yeah,
That's
but
how
the
it
only
works.
thing, the only issue is there's no confusion. Whenever he run into multiple men or multiple teachings or concepts of how a man is respected, he may be faced with the confusion, and he can always report back to home base and see how that aligns with the man in the house, and he can check all of that stuff down. But when you don't have a man in the house, there's nothing to check down. You're just left out there on the whim. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because even if the son he gets to interact with other boys at school or in the society, in the community, who are not being raised right, eventually, if the dad and the mom are in the house and they're doing a good job, they will pick up on those characteristics that he picks from the outside. So it's on them, the parents, to reinforce good habits, good behaviors, good characteristics. So whatever the boy picks out from the community, the parents have to keep building. Because like from the beginning, when these pretty ladies said that, listen, it's better to correct a kid than to try to correct damaged adults. So it's up to the parents to keep reinforcing good behaviors, because they know outside society is crazy. So they have to keep doing their job as the parents.
Sort of. I don't completely disagree, but I will have to slightly disagree, because even if that man was in the house, there will still be influence, because you have to understand that kids find more value outside of the home at a certain point than they do inside of the home, because outside of the home is new and it's fresh. But
No, I disagree. I'm sorry I had to cut it off. The only time kids prefer what's outside than what's inside in the home is if the parents are not doing a good job. Now, for example, if the parents have a toxic environment in the house, there's dysfunction in the house, the kids are more likely to gravitate towards what's outside of the house. Now, are we saying every kid is perfect? That there are no kids who have good parents, but they still turn out to be crazy kids? No, I'm just saying on average, the probability is if the parents are not doing a good job, the kids are going to seek out even worse behaviors outside of the home most of the time. But if the parents are putting their foot down every time, reinforcing, the kids go to school, they come back, they check on them, how was school, what did you do, who are your friends, asking what do your friends do, what do their parents do, keeping tabs on how kids behave and who their friends are. it's most likely that those kids will turn out to be good no matter how crazy the people they interact with are outside of the house.
You've always seen and heard your parents. So you are heavily influenced by something that looks cool or sounds cool, or you're at school with the boys and they're sharing with other boys what they've been taught. You're influenced either way. So even if the
Let
man
me
was
get this
at
straight.
home,
You're saying that newness trumps the intrinsic value that a boy can get from his house, the father in his household.
it adds to, is what I'm saying. It doesn't trump, but it definitely does add to. That father cannot fight that outside influence.
Can you give me an example? Can you give me an example of what that will look like of a boy running into an outside influence that his father would be incapacitated to deal with?
I'm not saying incapacitated, but we see it all the time. We see these boys raised in 2-parent households, but they're heavily influenced by the streets.
Yeah, that's if the parents are not doing a good job. That's what I keep saying. If the parents are only paying the school fees, only buying the food and letting the kids watch TV and not checking in on who the kids' friends are, maybe sometimes parents even tell the kids, invite your friends to come over. Let's go meet your friends with the parents. Who are your friends? Who are the parents? And then they interact with those parents to see what type of parents and what type of friends do my kids have. In other words, that will help the parents fish out and filter out kids who may be bad or bad influences for their kids. So that I don't know what point she's trying to make, but what she's talking about is a minority, especially if the parents in the house are doing a good job.
And there's nothing that their parents can do about that, because they're just going to be influenced by the streets because it's new and fresh and fun.
No.
Well, I agree that there's some influence outside.
Yeah.
Whether or not he yields to the influence is where I'm kind of lost at.
Okay.
So I'm lost. I'm trying to see what is the likelihood of the boy yielding to the outside influence when he actually has a father in the house counteracting that.
I think an example would be smoking. Most people smoke, and I don't think anybody's parents advocated for them to smoke. A lot of people do Percocets. I don't think anybody's parents advocated for them to do Percocets. It doesn't matter how active your parents are in that household. These teenagers are literally going to get vapes as 13-year-old 8th graders with 2 parents in the household. They're sneaking and doing these things. And it's not necessarily like, oh, I'm just blatantly disrespecting my parents, because I can get where your confusion may come from, because it's like, I'm an active father, I'm a man, I'm present. Yeah, nobody's negating you're not doing your job, but children are children, and they're sneaking and doing these things because the outside influence is like, I want to be cool too. We all went through our phase of, I want to be included.
And the point that he's making is it's gonna the parents' leadership and influence is going to absolutely supersede whatever outside influence there is. I got 2 teenagers; they don't do none of that shit, and they never will. And I will bet on it. I will bet any of y'all of that type of money that my children won't do that. And you know why? Because I'm active. Because I've created that space where my children can talk to me comfortably. And if you are fucking up out there, it's a result of poor parenting. I don't understand why we're trying to erase or minus accountability. No. This is what we love to do. There is such a thing as good parenting and shitty parenting. There are some shitty parents, and in more cases, the overwhelming majority, if you were doing your thing as a parent, you're likely going to have children that are doing well in life. There's
also shitty kids too. Sorry, there are bad people. There are bad people, like bad kids in general. Like, for example, every kid has a different personality. You'll have some kids who want to go along and who are never going to stray from you. And you have those other kids who are just wayward, who want to do it because that's just something in them.
Can I say?
Yeah, so shout out to Lapi for that. But I think the ladies at the end were more focused on the kids who don't turn out right. If the parents are doing their job, the most important thing is you as parents do your best. Try to figure out who your kids' friends are, where they go to, who they hang out with, what type of parents those friends have, and things like that. Like, do the best you can instead of being worried about doing your best and the kids may not turn out right. We already know not everyone turns out right. But shout out to Latif, man, and shout out to this beautiful, pretty lady for holding women accountable. What do you guys think about that? All right, next we have whatever podcast. I haven't reacted to their channel in a while, so we're gonna get into it. Let's see.
Power dynamic. That is, I'm all for.
Let me ask you a question.
Dynamic.
Do you want a guy to open the car door for you?
Let me go back just a little bit.
Make your argument, please.
Let me think. It's like a weird power dynamic. That is, I'm all for.
Let me ask you a question.
Dynamic.
Do you want a guy to open the car door for you on a date?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really harmful to the man. That's a weird power dynamic that you want, that you insist a man open a car door for you when you have agency and you have the strength to open a car door. Articulate to me why you want a man to open the car door for you.
Because it goes back further than just like
cars are a recent invention of modernity. They've been around for like 100 years. Goes back to when? The caveman days?
Well, obviously not.
Okay, so there's no evolutionary basis for a woman desiring a man to open the car door. So explain to me why women
did originate for like safety reasons.
Safety reasons.
Protecting the woman. No, I actually do.
She's gonna blow out her shoulder opening a car door? Don't think so. Don't think so.
Do you know the history of chivalry?
Some.
To basically woo a woman that you couldn't get, that wasn't attracted to you, so you basically tried to make her attracted to you by being subservient.
I think that's
Being a
very
little
secular.
bitch.
Very secular.
No, that's the actual history.
I don't.
From France, the chivalrous knights.
Yeah, but like if
They
we
don't know
went
the
back
history.
Biblically, people would love on others to show other people that they can experience God's love.
Yeah, but biblically, that's not. We talking about where we actually know it originated historically, like where you can date it back to. It was the chivalrous knights of France. And
That's where being.
that's where
the
the concept of chivalry, like wooing a woman, like trying to impress a woman, doing those kind of things, it dates back to, I believe, 15th century France. Might be a little earlier than that, somewhere in between the 12th and the 16th century France, chivalrous knights.
Okay, but I don't.
No, the thing is, she claims she's a boss babe, right? But the thing is, even I've told you guys so many times, even the richest, most independent boss women still expect a guy to be traditional. They don't want to be traditional. They don't want to cook. They don't want to clean. They want to save their money, but they still want a traditional guy. They want to be as modern as it gets, but they still want you as the man. And if you are not a man, they're going to say you're not a real man. You don't know how to treat a woman right, and blase, blase, blase. So that's what she's trying to do. So she's saying the man should be a gentleman, but don't expect me to be a lady. I'll do what I want, but you as the man keep being a man, a real man. Provide, protect, open my car door, kiss the feet, kiss the ground that I walk on.
I don't think women ever like demanded a man open a car door for them.
No, that's just a form of chivalry, and it all ties back into just trying to impress a woman. You're trying to be impressive to the woman.
Yeah.
You're trying to basically pedestalize her.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what opening a car door would be, in a sense. It's like, Your Majesty, my queen.
Wait, so again though, how is it harmful to the woman for her to do a bow?
Because you're only thinking about yourself. That's
Well,
not.
Yeah, but you're also only thinking about yourself when you want a man to pay for your bills. You're only thinking about yourself when you want a man to pay for your date. Right? You're only thinking about yourself when you want a man to protect you and open the car door. The double standards are crazy.
On the ground. I'm not saying it's going to like cause physical harm to her, but in the
Mental harm?
relationship, that's not going to be
Straight
very
into the mic.
healthy.
Nick, I can't see her, so you have to be looking out for this. Go ahead.
Sorry, I keep looking at you. That's why. But it's not going to cause a healthy relationship when you're only thinking about your experience and how you can be served instead of trying to consider her experience.
I have a couple questions.
And when both people do that, probably, do you know what? She might end up bowing for you. But when you're like, okay, I need to be bowed for, and like, I'm not going to think about how I can you know, bring love into this person's life. I'm just going to think about how she can make me feel better and better. That's not going to be grounds for a healthy relationship.
So you think that if a woman were to bow in a relationship, it would just be absolutely catastrophic and it would just lead to the demise of the relationship just on virtue of her bowing and the man wanting her to bow?
I don't think it would be catastrophic, but I do think that having that is like an ideal for looking for relationships is like, honestly, like it's not good.
I don't think
It's not good. So she's saying a man asking for his woman to bow to him is harmful and it's bad. It's not good. But they never say how it's harmful for a woman to only want a man who can provide and pay her bills. The double stuff, like, I don't even know how she can say that with a straight face. And she's smiling. It's like, you as a man, your preferences are harmful. Don't ask me for nothing. But me as a woman, I can have preferences and I can say I have standards and my standards are you're going to pay all my bills. But don't expect me to clean because that's harmful to me. Wow.
healthy. Like, honestly.
I think it's just very...
You don't think it's healthy?
No, I don't think it's very healthy in a relationship for a woman to bow to a guy that's doing too much.
It's unhealthy. Okay, so what labor, like, is it physically laborious? Is it grueling to do?
I just feel like it's a slippery slope. Like, you might ask her to bow for you, but then, like, what's next? What else are you going to be asking her to do that kind of just like lowers her ranking in the relationship?
It doesn't lower her ranking.
Degrading.
It's a bit degrading.
No, it actually elevates her.
No.
What do you got, Amy?
If she's bowing to you, would you bow back to her?
That's what my original question was going to be. Like, is this actually a fetish kink, or is this about submissive nature?
It's funny how upset they get about the bow thing. So here's what's interesting.
I think I'm not upset about
really
it.
Quick,
it's just unhealthy.
just really quick question for you. Do you object? Obviously, you recognize there are cultures where bowing is more typical. Do you object to the bow in those cultures?
What cultures?
Like Asian cultures, for example, like Japan.
I don't know if they bow to their husbands.
I don't know the specifics.
It's women
but bowing is more common.
Well, no, because I think that's totally different context. They're not.
Okay, sure. So we'll remove that from the equation if you don't object to it in that context. It's cultural appropriation, though.
Bow is a sign to respect our elders. We don't bow to our spouses. No, like.
Yeah, but I think the main thing here is a man can have whatever preferences he has, right? The same way a woman can have whatever preferences she wants to have. But as soon as a man has a preference, whether it's bowing, whether it's submission, whether it's cooking, whether it's cleaning, the women have an issue with it. They see it like slavery, controlling, and all these things. But when they say they want a guy who's 6 feet and, is going to pay all her bills, it's not an issue. It's not harmful then.
I get like my nephews and nieces bow to me.
You're Vietnamese, though, right?
I'm Chinese Vietnamese, yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know the specifics of the various, the cultures, the cultural specifics of each individual country. I know there are vast differences between Vietnam, Korea, Japan, China, Thailand, Mongolia, Laos, Indonesia. I don't know. There's plenty of Asian countries. They all have different cultures. So, yeah.
If you take it
but
from
I'm not
that,
making an argument of like, I'm doing this because of Asian cultures. No, this is just like some white boy shit.
But you won't answer why.
Yeah,
why do you want her to bow?
It's his preference.
Because I want it. Do I need any other reasons?
Yes.
Well, one because it's submissive. Because it's submissive. It's sort of a determination of her willingness to be submissive.
But what
and
is
be playful.
submission to
And be
you?
playful. It's not like some dark, twisted, demented thing. For me, how is it dark? Articulate how, like, you can't just throw it out and not have a reason for it. How is it dark?
Can I chime in?
Let me no.
I just don't know how you could just stand there and watch somebody bow to you and not feel like, God, stop that. Just stand
That's
up.
because hold on.
Stop that.
But you're viewing it through the female lens.
Mm-hmm.
You desire.
You want to know something funny?
What you have
after that night, the first night that I did the podcast and you showed the bowing video, I told my husband about it, and then we were acting it out together, and I bowed to him, and he felt so weird, and he was like, "Don't ever do that again."
Yeah, because maybe that's not something he wants from you, but I'm sure there are other things he wants from you that are more important to him. But if bowing is what he wanted from you, it wouldn't be weird.
And I was like,
cool.
I was like, "How does it make you feel when I bow to you?" He was like, "I can't even describe it. It's like, I just don't want you to do it. I feel weird about myself if you bow to me."
Before you did the bow, did you have a 5-minute conversation about how you feel? Like you told him that you think it's weird, and that you just literally
no. I was like, "Oh, it was
you
like
guys were
the
talking
host
about
wants,"
and you set up this totally inorganic bowing thing. One, he doesn't desire the bow. Two, you have opposition to the bow, so of course it was going to come off weird in that scenario. I've had women who've come on the show who said, "Hey Brian, I just hit the bow to my man just because I've seen it," and the husband liked it.
that is not something that women are naturally going to want to do.
So
for
you can give your circumstantial thing. I can just give you an opposite scenario where we had a woman who was on who said she hit the bow and the husband loved it. Cool.
Exactly. Anyway, man, shout out to Brian and whatever podcast. I just wanted to react to this quick video because it just goes to show how when a man wants something from a woman, they fight it so hard, and that's because they don't get anything from it. Once they don't benefit, they take offense to it. But when they want something from a man, if the man doesn't do that, then he's not a real man. He's not a provider. He's not a strong man. Whatever, shaming words they usually use. So I'll put the link down below for the full video. All right, next we have Ashley, man. Ashley has been on fire lately, and she brought on this woman who quit her job to chase a rich man. I'm telling you, the dating streets are cooked out here. So without further ado, let's go.
It's not.
Hello, we can't hear you, Camille. Turn on your sound.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Hi, we can hear you.
I know they gotta always like comfort me. I know.
Camille, every time you come up here, it's
I just
last time it was the day.
in the country club. Like, oh my god, like don't come.
Okay, fair enough. Do you consent to be on a live and potentially all platforms?
Yes, I have. I have an update. So I just been having. Oh, thank you. It's from Shin, I think, or I don't know where it's from. I think it's from Zara. Matter of fact. But anyways, I have an update. So anyways, hi Ashley, how are you today?
I'm good. Happy Sunday. It seems like you had a great Sunday.
Yeah, great weekend. So like I end up meeting like this white guy. He's an investor.
Okay.
And he took me to the country club for like the weekend, and we had so much fucking fun.
For the weekend.
Yes, we had so much fun. I should keep brushing the Levi. I know, because it's like, it's all messed up. Okay, let me put it like this. But anyways.
What Camille gonna do is get her man. She gonna get her man, child. Uh-oh, that's him calling.
I know, that's the goal. I'm gonna get me a man. Like, I have to, you have to put yourself out there. We met on Hinge. So, like, I've been on, like, 20 dates on Hinge. And I just really like the guy that I'm dating now.
Rewind, you went on 20 dates from Hinge.
Yeah, 20 dates with Hinge. And it was...
Can you imagine 20 dates from Hinge? And I can guarantee you she didn't pay for any single one of those dates. Man, it's so easy for women. Do you know what it means for a man to get 20 dates on Hinge? So those are 20 different women and they're just saying yes, 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 yes. You gotta be like maybe 6'5". Maybe you gotta show like some good photos. You gotta look really good. You gotta have all your hair, like unless you're like The Rock. But she just simply said that she has been on 20 dates, just like that. Man, women have it so easy, and I can guarantee you, some of those guys thought she was the one, but now she's talking about how she's talking about now another rich man, and all those guys who took her out, it was all for nothing.
Like you could tell like who's going to help you, who's going to provide for you, who's going to make your life a little easier in life. You can just sometimes
Wow.
tell. Like, you can just
Sugar
sometimes
daddy,
tell,
huh?
like, who's into black girls, who's into, like, 50-50. It's so weird now. You can actually, like, tell. Does that make sense?
No,
Like,
it
you
does.
can,
It
yeah,
makes
you can tell who's going, oh, sorry. You can tell who's going to provide for you and everything.
Mhm.
It's so weird. Like, I've been on maybe like 7 dates with 7 different white men, and then like 5
Wow.
like with black men, and then I end up making a strong connection with the guy I'm talking to tonight. He lives in Scottsdale. Scottsdale is like the, like the Beverly Hills of like
Okay,
Arizona.
pop. Okay.
Yeah. And so we just been connecting every day. He was like, I just want to invite you out to the country club. Come on, you ready? And then he was like telling me, like, hey, let's get on my plane and let's just go out and just go have fun tomorrow. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to go to work. And like, I'm like thinking about quitting my job. And it's
Quitting.
Wow. So a guy invited her, I think, in a private jet. He's trying to fly her out, and she wants to quit her job because the rich guy is telling her, you know, she should go out and spend time with him. I see this as another Didi Cassie issue. So she wants to quit her job for a rich man, to hang out with a rich man, and when things don't work out, she's going to come back and say, oh, he used me, oh, he manipulated me, oh, he made me lose my job. This is another Didi Cassie situation about to happen.
Your job, Camille?
well, I need to have fun. Like, whatever. Everything happens. Everything, whatever's supposed to happen is supposed to happen. I'm like, I'm a lucky girl, and all good things come to me, flow through me, move through me. Everything works out for me. No one take control of me. I move through my.
She's delusional. I think she's even
I know
drunk.
somebody said, you don't know this man. Don't do it. Don't do it. But he's 50. He just had a birthday, so he's 50 years old.
Okay.
And he's Jewish.
Okay. And how old are you, Camille?
30 something.
Okay, well, 30 something. Okay, grown.
Yeah, 37. You told me to start dating the ballers. You told me, remember?
But I didn't say quit your job. I didn't say quit your job. You just met this man.
I know. I'm only making $20 an hour. Like.
Oh, okay. I figured it was like maybe a career. Maybe you've been working at this place for some time. You know.
No.
So because he has money, like, and I think this is where guys have a hard time. So she went on 20 dates with 20 different men. Now she has found a guy who has money, who wants to fly her out, and she's willing to quit her job on the spot. Right? And then things are probably never going to work out, because if he has money, I can guarantee you he has asked multiple women to fly them out. She's not the only one. For some reason, she thinks she's the only one. Right? So eventually things are not going to work out. I mean, I wish her the best, but if we're gonna be logical and be realistic, if he's a rich guy, he probably sees multiple women, or multiple women at least want him because she has the money. So she went on different dates with different guys who are, I assume they didn't have that much money, because in the beginning she talked about how she can see who's a provider, who wants to go 50-50. So she dished the guys who are 50-50 or who don't have as much money willing to spend on her. She's going for the rich guy. But when it doesn't work out, she's going to blame all men. She's also going to blame men who she went on in one date and ghosted. The good men who would have been down with her through it all, even if they didn't have that much money.
It's just fun. Like, I'm having fun. It's excitement, you know.
All right, and he wants to take you on a jet plane tomorrow.
Yes. He was talking about Puerto Rico, so.
Oh, okay. Puerto Rico. Okay, so chat, what should she do? Let's ask the chat. I'm gonna open up the floor. I'm gonna open up the floor to the chat.
Oh my God.
What should she do?
She's using her free will. It just feels amazing. I feel like he's lonely too. I think he wants a black girl to like have his life excitement, if that makes sense.
Okay, and it sounds like you guys had a good time at the country club.
We've been having, like, for the last 2 weeks, like, we've been having fun. Like, it's been.
Oh, for 2 weeks. Okay. And I'm assuming, your body, your choice, you do what you want. I'm assuming if you leave your job, he said, well, if you leave, Camille, I'm gonna make sure everything is set for you.
Correct.
That's why
Correct.
you feel comfortable quitting.
Correct. He actually wants me to start my own business.
Oh, okay.
So I was thinking about
starting a
Yeah, he's definitely a sugar daddy. He's definitely a sugar daddy. The only issue, like I said, is it's probably never gonna work out. He expects some sugar. He's gonna give him money or do whatever he wants, but he expects some sugar. And when he's done, she's gonna complain how men are not good men anymore. But she overlooked all the other guys who took her out on dates. Right? She overlooked all the other guys who were not good providers. Because like I said before, she said she had been on dates with 20 other men, but she chose this rich guy that she's willing to quit her job for. But the issue I have also is some guys are still going to, because she's on dating app, she says she's on Hinge. Some guys are going to see her and think they can compete with a rich guy. Some guys are going to like her and think they can compete, yet she has a rich guy on the side. Because best believe if it doesn't work out with a rich guy, she's going to go back out there to look for another sugar daddy. But she's still going to be entertaining normal average guys on dates, on free food, free dinner dates, free foodie dates, if we're going to be honest. So dating out here is tough.
Of the business, I'm assuming he's gonna make sure you're okay if you quit your job.
Correct. Correct. I think he just doesn't want to lose me, I think he doesn't want to lose me. I think he just needs some excitement in his life, if that makes sense. He's white, so I never really dated a white man before until now.
Okay. So outside of having fun and giving Cookie up, even if that again you're grown, you can do what you want. But what else?
I'm giving up Cookie.
Camille, please. Okay. Goodbye.
How you not giving up Cookie? Like, okay. I am. I gave up the cookie.
Yeah.
After a year and a half, it's been a long time.
Yeah, I know. And he flipped, dipped, sauteed, turning around, forward, back, everything.
Yeah. It's been a long
Cookie
time.
overload.
I think I believe her just a little bit, but I think she wanted to show off. Because if you guys, some of you guys are probably haven't watched Ashley's show, but some women come on here, because I think Ashley, for the most part, preaches that women should get sugar daddies or get men who have money to provide for their lifestyle, right? So that kind of dating advice. But for her, I think she's a little bit delusional, but I think she also came on to show off to other women, because it's really a competition. Because let's be honest, rich guys are very few and far in between, and they have so many women who want them. So I think she is kind of trying to show off, but I also think it won't work out eventually, because if he's a rich guy, she's not the only one. But what do you guys think? Because it's tough dating out here, especially for the average guy, because there's no average guy who's going to watch this, or even a guy who has money not willing to spend it, who's going to watch this and think she's a catch, especially when she says she has been on multiple dates with multiple guys who she ghosted just for this rich guy. What do you guys think about that? Link down below to Ashley's full channel. All right, next up we have some black women really hate when men date women of other races, and you can see this black woman is saying black men need to only date black women. She's gonna give us reasons why black men should date only black women, but the issue is they never listen to the reasons why black men date other races of women. And even when they listen to those reasons, and black men are saying, hey, you maybe should change this, you should change A, B, C, D, so that, some black men don't go date other races, they are like, no, you gotta hand them either way. I'm not willing to change. So without further ado, let's go.
Y'all are not gonna like this, but I'm saying it. Y'all can say I'm a hypocrite. Y'all can say you can't talk, blase, blase, blase. In this Y'all are not gonna like this, but I'm saying it. Y'all can say I'm a hypocrite. Y'all can say you can't talk, blase, blase, blase. In this country, the way it is set up, okay, Black men need to be with Black women. If you are dating exclusively white women, you need to go to therapy, okay, and unpack that self-hatred that you got. Okay, and all the rhetoric I hear about Black women or this, Black women or that, I don't want to hear it. It's bullshit. There are plenty of Black women. Do you know how often Black women seek out a man that's not Black? Do you? Do you know how often Black women seek out men that are not Black? Even in this day and age when
Black women seek out men of other races often. The only issue is those men of other races have to approach them, and they don't usually approach them. We see them on social media. We see them on TikTok talking about, oh, they're tired of Black men. They're gonna date other men of different races. But those other men have to approach them. It's not an issue of because you want something. It's gonna happen. They actually have to approach you, and they actually have to want you back. You know. Also, we have seen the Serena Williams, the Halle Berry, and all these other women. But the issue is, Black women don't talk about it. And if they do, they're saying, go girl, that's your preference. Go where you deserve that. You deserve a man who takes care of you. Black men are not willing to provide and protect, so they go to other races. So it happens only that they don't talk about it as much as they talk about when a Black man, especially a celebrity, goes with a white woman.
they very much should be. They should be like, you know what? And go get something else. If we lived in a perfect world where racism and Jim Crow laws and racism didn't exist, I wouldn't give a fuck. Because then love could be love. But at this, where we are right now, I heard this. Deontay Kyle, said it, but I heard it before I heard him say it. You have a low racial self-esteem. It should be an honor to be with a Black woman. It should be a privilege to be with a Black woman. It should be standard. It should be traditional to be with a...
But you guys are not tradition anymore. So why do you want Black men to be traditional when you're not tradition anymore? When a Black man says, hey, listen, I'm dating white women because I want peace, you fight him. You just say, handle me. You just say, just deal with my bad attitude. When a Black man says, I'm dating white women because when I was in high school, Black women didn't want me because I didn't have the money. Now I have the money, I can pick who I want. You fight him. You're like, no, you should be with me. Just telling someone that they should be with you is not a good enough reason. You actually have to sell yourself. Dating is a market. Men make the money, they look good, they, dress well, whatever it is, to sell themselves to women. You as the woman, you also have to look good, number one, good attitude, be willing to have a conversation, mature conversation, not try to curse someone out when you don't get what you want. So both men and women are selling something to each other. So if whatever you are selling, Black men are not buying and they're going to a different race to buy, maybe you need to look in the mirror. Because y'all call Black men dusty and broke every single day because they're not going to take you to $500 dinner dates. But maybe the Asian woman down the street doesn't mind going to, I don't know, to just Applebee's and getting a normal dinner that is $80.
The Black woman. For Black men. And I know y'all gonna be like, oh, but Amber, I was lost in the sauce. I did not know no better. And I always take it. I always go, you know what? You're right. I did it wrong. I did not do what I am preaching to do right now. I did not do that. I know better now. When you know better, you do better. And there's not a man right now that's better suited for me than a man that is Black. Just like me.
Yeah, but why should he choose you? That's the question they never talk about. Why should he choose you? You have to give a man a reason to choose you. You know, it's not a case of just that you look the way you look that a man should choose you. You should give him a reason to choose you apart from you're a black woman. So at the end of the day, most guys will choose a woman who gives them peace if they know what they want, if they get the options. And the only time you all talk about black men, you know, choosing women of other races is when you're criticizing them for not choosing black women. But when black women choose men of other races, you never talk about it. Funny how that works. Anyway, what do you guys think about that? All right, next we're gonna do Kendra G. But guys, give me a minute. I'll be back. All right, guys, I'm sorry. I'm back. Had to deal with some issues. All right. Next, we're gonna go to Kendra G. This guy came on. He has 3 kids by 3 women, and you know, the women were going in on him on in the comments. You know, sometimes you guys know I criticize women when they come on and they have like 3 kids and 3 baby daddies, and they're looking for this kind of woman and so on and so forth. But yeah, this was crazy. So without further ado, let's get into it.
This bad, Kendra? I got homeboys and stuff, got 6, 7 kids. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, let's go back. Okay.
Nah. Order selector right now. I work at a warehouse.
You work at a warehouse. Okay. Do you have any children?
Yeah. I got 3.
Okay. How many? 3 kids. How old are your 3 kids?
1, 2, and 3.
Are they all by the same woman?
Nah.
How many women you got kids by?
3.
3 kids, 3 women.
Wait, that's bad.
Kendra, why are you making those faces when you've had women here who have 5 kids by 5 men and you never make those faces? Kendra, this is a double standard. I hate this. I'm not saying he's okay, but I'm saying when women come on her show and have 3 kids by 3 different men, she never makes the same face she's making right now. It's the double standards.
This bad, Kendra? I got homeboys and stuff, got 6, 7 kids. You know what I'm saying?
We're comparing you to your ratchet ass friends. The reason why, let me tell you why it's bad. Because you got a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 3-year-old. So that's 3 women that you got kids by, and you calling me, which means out of the 3 women that you got kids by, you couldn't settle down with any of them. And one is 1, 1 is 2, 1 is 3. Why the hell you can't be with any of your baby mamas?
Kendra, you never have this energy for single moms who call into your show. And this is why men are like, you give hope to single moms. I've never seen Kendra have this kind of energy for all the single moms who call her show. And remember, it's mostly single moms who call her show. She never goes in on them like this. And sometimes they have 5 baby daddies, but still, she never gives them this kind of energy. But once a man comes on with 3 kids and 3 women, she's going in.
I can be with them, but they younger than me. And I ain't gonna lie, man, I grow faster. I'm growing faster. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting smarter by the day. I'm experiencing, you know what I'm saying, by the day. So like, I mean, I'm saying like I get held up, you know what I'm saying? And the disrespect, a lot of stuff, you know, shit can't go. And like I'm 30, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm ahead of all my friends that's my age, that's a little older than me, you know what I'm saying, mentally. So a lot of females, you know what I'm saying, they like I'm the ones, my baby mamas, like I'm teaching them. You know what I'm saying? I gotta teach them and lead them. And they got family
Kendra.
that's pulling them a different way. You know what I'm saying? And
Robert, how old are your baby mamas?
27, 31, and 21.
Only the 21-year-old is a lot younger than you. 27, and the 31-year-old is older than you.
Yeah, one of them, she like, but she like 25 years old mentally though.
Well, you had a baby by her.
Yeah. So
We're gonna move forward. I'm gonna still let you go, but I got a couple questions. Were any of them pregnant at the same time?
No.
But there's 1, 2, and 3. None of the pregnancies overlap. Like you had one baby and it just got another girl pregnant that fast.
With my first 2 kids, I was kind of like dealing with both of them.
And these are the Pookies, you know. He's a Pookie. He's a real Pookie. He's the bad boys that they want. Because he had a baby with the first woman. In fact, I'm thinking about the last woman because he has kids with 3 women. What was the last woman thinking about to have a kid with a man who has 2 kids by 2 other women already. This is what, and this guy is the type of man that black women say, oh, black men are like this. No. These bookies, the bad boys, have multiple kids with multiple women. And guess what? His baby mamas are going to be asking for a rich man after having a baby with this kind of guy. You know, these are the guys women choose. It's just astonishing to me. They leave the good guys, they call them boring, they call them dusty and broke because they only make $60,000 and not willing them to take them to Turks and Caicos. And then they see this Pookie and they have kids with him. Multiple women at the same time. Damn. He's a future.
You know what I'm saying? But secretly.
So if the 31-year-old has a 25-year-old mindset, you're 30. How old is your mindset?
Well, like 35, 36.
In dog years.
Yeah.
I mean, this is funny. It's okay for Kendra to call him out, but I hate the fact that Kendra never calls women out like this. Kendra complains that men like me who react to her content criticize the single moms. But she doesn't criticize single moms, but she criticizes single dads. I don't know if it, I mean, I don't know his lifestyle, so he's probably a deadbeat dad, honestly, because he can't, because I don't see him having other kids raising them by himself. But he's criticizing him, but she never has the same energy for single moms. That's my only issue, the double standard, Kendra.
Look, yeah, think about it. When I was young, I was 16, 17 years old. I was hanging around dudes 23, 24 years old. You know what I'm saying? 25, 26, 20, you know what I'm saying? Consistently, you know what I'm saying? Bumping my head or whatever, but still learning and experiencing too. You know what I'm saying? Like most of them, they still stay with their mamas. You know what I'm saying? I was leading them to where I had them out. You know what I'm saying? But shit, man.
So let me ask you this. The friends that you hung with, did you desire their lives?
Oh, no.
Okay, so you should do the opposite of that. So everything that they did, you should do the opposite. Because, like, you telling me you hang around with a lot of friends that got 6 baby mamas and all these baby mamas. So really, they should have inspired you to do everything they did, but on the opposite direction, so you could have got a better, different result, right?
Right.
Okay.
But we're still learning life and learning from each other, though. You know, we the type that ain't really had no male role model and nothing like that. We're teaching ourselves, learning ourselves.
Yeah, but it's not an excuse, bro. I mean, if you made the mistake one time, you had a kid with one woman. Okay, I'll even give you 2 women, 2 kids from 2 different women. That should have been it. That should have told you that, you know what, I can't keep doing this. But doing it 3 times, now you are being like the delusional women who call into Kendra G's show, expecting the world to understand, it's the environment I was raised in. It's like, no. You should have known after the second kid by 2 different women that I shouldn't be doing this. So I'm going to hold him accountable the way I try to hold women accountable. But my issue is Kendra is trying to hold him accountable, but Kendra never holds single moms accountable. And that's maybe because they make her money, you know, because I think it's a money move. If Kendra held women accountable every time they called in with 10 baby daddies and 25 kids each, I think they would stop calling in and she would stop making money. So I guess I understand why Kendra doesn't hold single moms accountable.
True. This is true. This is why men gotta step. This is why you gotta break the cycle, and you gotta be a daddy to your children and teach them the right way, so the cycle don't continue. That's gonna be your responsibility as the father now to make sure you teach your kids. Because even though I'm a girl, a lot of the things that I know is because my father taught me. I was raised by a gangster, not a real gangster, but a man that put me on the game. So by the time the world got to me, I was already knowledgeable of a lot of things because my daddy made sure he taught me. So you as a father, that's going to be you to break that curse, okay?
Right.
That's going to be important. All right, now let's continue. We got Robert, 30, works at the warehouse, Fort Worth, Texas. Dad of 3 kids. What's your zodiac sign?
Pisces.
Pisces. Hold on. Someone says she need to stop talking. Hold on. I'm gonna call you out by name because this is the problem right here. This is the problem right here. Yeah, exactly. This is the problem right here. I want to find. Well, y'all better be happy. The comment section went up fast. But whoever said I need to stop talking, you probably the person that needs to hear the message the most with your dumb ass. See, all you want to do is come up here and watch my show, and y'all miss teachable moments. And teachable moments are very important. And like he said, there was a truth to what he said. A lot of us, well, not a lot of us, but a lot of people in our community didn't have a father figure. And it's important. I believe mothers are important. I believe the father is important too. So that was an important message for your dumb ass that didn't want anybody else to hear. All right,
no, Kendra, I think the issue people have with you in the comments is the fact that you pick and choose who to hold accountable. You hold the men accountable, but you never hold the single moms accountable. Majority of your callers, the people who come on your show, are women. Majority are single moms. Majority have more than one baby daddy. A majority have more than one kid, but you never hold them accountable. You laugh back and forth with them when they say they want all these crazy standards. They want a guy who makes $100 million. You laugh with them. You say, "Go girl, do this. Maybe you'll get it. Whatever." You laugh, which for me I understand it's a money making thing because otherwise they would not call in if they knew you would hold them accountable. But it's the double standards.
back to you, Robert. Let me stay focused. Yeah. All right, we got Robert. What kind of woman you looking for?
Man, somebody that gonna definitely grow though. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's not real materialistic. Somebody that's basically for sure like they eat right. You know, cause I'm just trying to. I'm vegan now, so I don't eat chips, candy, cake, juice, and none of that. So can't get with no girl, man. She's still doing this, doing that. It ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna work. Just trying to do.
When did you become vegan?
Man,
when did you become vegan?
I started back like 3 months ago.
So now, and you said, so for 3 months ago. So no woman that eats what again?
Man, just try to eat right. Just try to work out, do something. You know what I'm saying? Like if you out of shape, of course you just like that. You happy with it. You know what I'm saying? Like work out or whatever. Like
he wants a woman in shape.
Do this, do that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he doesn't want big women.
I don't. You know what I'm saying? Cause you can get pregnant or whatever and get out of shape, and then like what? Like but that ain't to go on. I'm not trying to have kids.
Yo, his dialect, his accent is crazy. That's why Kendra is making the faces. I think one of the reasons. Obviously, he's also not. He has weird standards, but. Yeah, Kendra. Oh my God.
I was saying, but if she want, you know what I'm saying, of course I'll do it. But I ain't running around trying to have kids like Kendra.
What do you mean?
Because of that look you just gave me.
Because you said you ain't trying to run around and have no kids. You got 3 baby mamas.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't want to have any more. He has learned from his mistake,
you wasn't
Kendra.
Running around trying to have kids? 3 baby mamas ago? So you stopped, okay, maybe when he became vegan 3 months ago, you decided you wasn't going to run around and get no more women pregnant too. So 3 months ago was like a life-changing moment for you.
Yeah, I done it before, but you know what I'm saying?
But this time you're going to be focused.
Right.
So I'm talking to a new person. 3 months ago, you made a shift. So now you don't eat chicken no more, and now you ain't getting no more girls pregnant.
I mean, I might, you know, I
ain't. That's a no. Oh my God. So he's going to get another woman pregnant. Oh my God. These bookies are crazy. The only issue I have is, and something that really hurts my soul, is women will see this kind of guy and use him to paint a picture that all black men are like him, when there are black men who struggle to even get a date. But I can guarantee you, this guy with these 3 kids from 3 different women, he's going to have women in his inbox. I can guarantee you that right now. I can bet $100. He's going to get women who want him because they want this kind of guy, because there's no structure, because they can do whatever they want. They want the toxicity. They want the, the craziness, the trauma bonding. But the good guy who has a job, who has structure, who has boundaries, who has standards, they don't want him because they call him controlling.
We might get somebody.
I'm not eating chicken no more. Like, for sure.
You ain't eating chicken no more, but you might get somebody pregnant.
And she my wife or something.
Oh, now you want to get married?
Man, out, man. I mean, that's what she want. You know what I'm saying?
Would you have a baby? Would you have another baby if you're not married?
That's a yes.
No.
Okay.
I don't want to.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yo.
What are your deal breakers besides a girl that eats chicken and steak?
Somebody that disrespectful. Somebody that act like a gangster, act like a dude, a thug, or whatever, act like their ex-boyfriend.
A masculine woman.
Somebody that's slow. And what I mean by slow is like most females that come, like they tell me to take them out to eat. I be like, man, that's it. Like that's everybody do that. Everybody going out to eat. Like, well, we can't go to. I can take you to the library, so we go to the zoo. Like I can take you to, an aquarium or something. Like we go do something else, man. You talking about like going to eat? I don't even know you. I can't get to know you if we sit in a restaurant. You feel me? And I can't.
He wants to take the women to the zoo and to the library. And I mean, trust me, he will. And trust me, there will be some women will be willing for this Pookie with 3 kids and 3 by 3 women. They will let him take them to a zoo, but they won't let a good guy with no kids, with a steady job, to take them to a zoo. They will demand a $300 dinner date from this other kind of guy. Isn't it crazy? They will demand an expensive dinner date from a guy who has no kids, who has his shit together, but they won't demand that from this guy. They will allow this guy to take them to a zoo and to a walk in the park. But if the good guy with no kids doing his shit, on top of his game, say, let's take a walk in the park. I don't know you well. She'll be like, oh, you're broke, you're dusty, you're cheap. You don't want to take a woman out? What kind of man are you? Like, you got to take me out to eat to show me that you like me. I'm telling you.
Ask you no personal questions, like you gonna be, you know what I mean, acting, trying to be perfect and stuff around people they hearing that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't gonna work. That's not an activity for me. You know what I mean? Like, we can do that at the end of the day, but hey, let's go to the zoo and stop by the library and then, you know what I'm saying, go to the movie. And I tell you, get something to eat at the end of the day. But man, can't check.
Well, the movies is a worse date if you try to have a conversation. You can't talk in the movie theater.
But just throw something extra in there though. Like,
well, listen, Robert, you're the guy. You could plan the date.
You're right. And that's what I'm trying to do.
I mean, do you plan on paying for the date?
No.
Do you plan on paying for the date?
No.
Oh yeah, that ain't no problem. But
okay, so I don't know if you know how to cook. Listen, well, I honestly feel like the man should plan the date because you got to pay for it. So it really should be according to what you want to do and your budget. This way, you're not going over what you plan on spending, and then either she could decide she wants to do it or not. I don't think you're saying anything wrong. I think that could be fun. Going to the zoo. I might not want to smell like any animals, but we could go smell.
See, even Kendra is putting her standards up here. It's like, what's wrong with going to the zoo? Like, who made these rules that a date has to be a dinner date? That has to be food. No, forget even dinner date, but it has to be expensive food. Like, I don't know where women come up with these standards. And if any man is not willing to get food for them to eat, then he's broke. He's dusty. He's not a good man. He's not a provider. Anyway, man, shout out to Kendra. I hope one of these days she'll hold women accountable. Single moms, I don't think she will, because they will stop calling and then she won't be able to make money. But this type of guy is definitely a bad example of black men who have no kids, who are not out here with, because this guy has 3 kids by 3 women, and some good guys can't even get 1 woman. It's crazy out here. What do you guys think? Link down below to Kendra. All right, next up we have this woman who's saying women that men are dating less attractive women for peace. Is that true? I think there's some truth to it, but let's hear how she has to explain this.
I saw a post that said that men are dating more for peace over beauty now. And if that doesn't tell you how dense and how black and white these men think, is that they're correlating more a beautiful, attractive woman to be more difficult and more demanding. Instead, what men are really trying to say is that they don't want to be held accountable for their actions. They want to be able to do certain things and you not being able to say anything about it to them. Okay. In their mind, they think to themselves that if I date a less attractive person, I can get away with more. They won't be as demanding. They'll be more peaceful. When in reality, so many men give women the chaos. They are the ones that bring the chaos. They don't want to.
Why do women always call men's preferences dense? If a man chooses that peace is his #1 preference on the list of things he's looking for a woman, and beauty isn't, why do they say it's dense? Because it doesn't benefit them. You as the so-called pretty or attractive woman, why are you worried about what type of attractive woman a man is dating? If he chooses peace over beauty, that's his choice. That's his preference. Why do you have to call him dense? Should we call y'all dense for choosing taller men over short guys? Should he call you dense for wanting a man who has money, even if you don't have the same kind of money? Should we call you dense for wanting a guy who can protect you? It's like any time, honestly, I believe the only women who complain about men choosing peace are the women who are trying to bring chaos, are the women who have no peace. Because I believe there is a peaceful woman wouldn't complain about this. A woman who has peace, who doesn't argue, who's not toxic, who has no drama, would not complain about the fact that men choose peace over beauty.
Be held accountable. They don't want to see their actions. They don't want their fragile ego to be hurt because they have been propped up their entire lives by society. And when a woman calls them out for their behavior, they don't like it. So instead, this is how black and white they think. Well, if I go for someone easier and who demands less, which is someone that's less attractive, she won't need so much from me. And they would rather do that than own up to their mistakes and actually change as a man. They would go for someone that they're less attracted to because they don't want to change who they are. That is how black and white they think. They won't even...
No, they don't want to fight. No man wants to come from work to fight with you, mama. I don't care if you're a 11 out of 10. I don't care if you're 100 out of 10. You might be the most beautiful woman, but if a man is going to come home to argue with you and for you to blast him because he left his socks out, no man wants that. That's why some guys come from home and sit in their cars for 3 hours because they fear to go into their own houses, because he knows as soon as he opens the door, you're going to pick something to fight about. And men are tired of that. So some guys are choosing to go with less attractive women, the way you say it, for peace. And some guys are choosing to get on the plane, to go to Asia, to go to Africa, to go to Colombia. And some guys are just opting out of the dating thing completely. Because it's like, I'm going to pay all the bills, pay the rent, take you on dates. And what do I get in return? You fighting about every single thing? To the extent that even in relationships, a man cannot even try to hold his woman accountable because she will find a way to flip it and make herself the victim and make him the bad guy.
Even go for even like the person that they're ideally more physically attracted to, they will be with someone less attractive just because that they will put up with more, because these men want to be able to get away with cheating. They want to be able to get away with going to strip clubs. They want to be able to get away with a lot more behavior with someone who won't demand as much. because it's easier. It's just simply easier with how these men want to date these days. So it's really wild how these men are thinking. Don't even know how to go about it, honestly, anymore. I mean, men cease to amaze me every single day.
Newsflash: men are simple, like that. They would choose peace over beauty. And honestly, the only issue now, she has lots of makeup, so I don't consider her as attractive as she may think she is. But the only issue I have, the only thing I see is attractive women only have an issue with this because men are not approaching them and they're leaving them on the shelf. And they're wondering why are so-called less attractive women having all these men taking care of them, and me, the so-called attractive woman, I'm single. That's the only issue. Because if an attractive woman has a man, she's not going to come on the internet to complain how men are choosing less attractive women. I repeat, if a woman has a man and she's attractive and she has a man, she won't have time to complain that men are choosing less attractive women for peace. And also, if a woman is a type of woman who's peaceful, who doesn't argue all the time, doesn't start drama, doesn't jump to conclusions, or is arguing back and forth with her man, starting trouble, starting weird arguments. If she's the kind of woman who's peaceful and calm with a soft, kind spirit, she wouldn't be complaining, which lets me know this is not that type of peaceful woman men want, and she doesn't like it. She doesn't like that men are so simple that they would choose peace over beauty, because men know beauty fades with time. But if they have to put up with you every single day for the next 30, 50 years in a marriage, they definitely are going to choose peace over beauty. And women are always complaining how men are shallow, they don't have standards. But as soon as men have standards and look beyond the beauty, beyond the looks, and that's an issue too. It's like men can't have preferences. What do you guys think about that? All right, next up we have Anton Daniels, man. He was going off. This was one of my favorite videos recently. So I'm gonna go back to the part that was really awesome. Think somewhere here, maybe here. Hold on, somewhere here, right?
And grind tomorrow. I still have to make sure that I'm the rock. When we understood,
nope, somewhere here maybe.
So it's not about not having emotions. It's not about not being emotional. It's about whether or not you can control it and whether or not that's going to impact the decisions that you make on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. So even women saying that is crazy. Yeah, of course we got emotions.
But we know,
so why are prisons filled with men?
But we do
why
know
what?
Prisons filled with men then.
Because they raised by women. They already told you, because they were raised by their mothers not to be able to control their emotions.
Women ruining men.
Women have the luxury of being able to lean. You have the luxury.
There are a lot of men in prison who have both parents.
It's not all. You have the luxury of being able to lean into your emotions.
That grew up in the bird.
I understand that no matter what happens, no matter what you do, I still got to go out and grind tomorrow. I still have to make sure that I'm the rock. When we understood traditional roles and when y'all stopped comparing yourselves to men, y'all actually thrived and won. But the minute that y'all start telling men what to do based off of something that y'all never achieved is when y'all started fucking up and when y'all started to feel like y'all needed therapy. You don't need therapy. You need structure. You need to stay busy. You need purpose. You need to be up under your man. You need to be adding value. You need to be nurturing your children. That's why you find that the true dopamine hit for women, and I hate to have to explain this to y'all because y'all should understand this. The true dopamine hit for women is the satisfaction of serving other people. It's the reason why y'all are nurturers. It's the reason why you feel great when you see your kid score a goal. It's the reason why y'all are soccer moms. It's the reason why when you see your husband happy, he goes out and performs because y'all are a helpmeet. The minute that y'all started doing for yourself and thinking that you understood it was the minute that you started failing. And the more that you see a culture, the more that you see a group of people start to do it for themselves, that's why, look, the correlation is so there. Women say we're the most educated, we're the most this, we're the most that, but they're the least married, the most broken, the most in debt, and the most disappointed, and they're the ones that's having the most conversations about decentering men.
And even when they say they're the most educated and they make all this money, they still want a man to provide. Even when they scream we're independent, we don't need no man, they still say a real man provides for me and I get to save my money. And if a man says, no, I'm not going to deal with the attitude, I'm not going to deal with this, let me go to the white woman, they complain about it. So even with all that independence and boss babe, boss ass bitch, don't need no man, whatever things they say these days, they keep evolving. At the end of the day, they still want a man to provide. So the issue is that most guys have is like, if you're going to choose to be modern, to be independent, don't call me broke and dusty if I choose not to provide. Because I mean, we're equal. You're independent. You don't need me, right? Okay. If we decide to get in a relationship, you pay your bills, I pay mine. But women find that as an issue.
It's dumb. It's the dumbest thing ever. I've seen women go to school, fucking struggle. The minute that a man came into her life, think about it. Women can go get educated. They can have their whole careers, and then they can get married and say, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be a stay-at-home wife. You know why she's willing to give that up? Because she's fallen into the nature of what God made her. She's giving it up, not because she feels like she needs money. Women don't value money. Women value security. If a man provides that security through money, they're willing to give up going to get it themselves because their true nature is to nurture.
Yeah.
So you talking about
what do you suggest? What do you suggest?
You need therapy is because you out of your purpose. The minute that you're in your purpose and you forget about the cares of the world because that's not something that was made for your hips, is the minute that you start really understanding life. You don't grasp life until you truly fall into your purpose. All of this shit that y'all doing, working, grinding, I want to get this career that a man made up based off of a need that somebody created in a job that can be gone tomorrow based off of some new technology like AI or some shit. You put your value in a fucking degree that a man made and printed out on a piece of paper that you can't even trade in for 2 pennies. And you think that fulfills you when it doesn't. It just gives you more of a desire to really be a mother, and you deny it. And so that's the reason that we have such a broken community. Is broken women. Women are absolutely out of their fucking minds right now.
Yeah, and that's the issue that really gets me. Have you guys heard of the saying that women will be submissive to their bosses, but not to the man they lay next to every single night? Have you guys ever heard that statement? The women respect their bosses more than the man they lay next to every single night. Like if they're at work, the boss can tell them, make me a coffee, and they will do it. But if the husband says, make me a coffee, they call that slavery. Think about that for a second. That's crazy.
They don't even.
Because they're choosing. So what do you suggest?
So much of their time, they've invested so much of their time into these institutions, into their degrees, into all of these things. And guess what? It was all for nothing. It was all for nothing.
I don't think that.
Your purpose is us. We're the only people that can fulfill you because it's the God in us that gave you your purpose. It's the reason why you came out of our rib. If you don't get up under me, you'll never be fulfilled.
That sounds really scary.
Jazz is a feminist, and she looks good. Some of you guys have told me I'm wrong. Jazz doesn't look good, but if I look on the panel, maybe Mercedes is the best looking, but Jazz looks good to me. She's a nice looking chocolate sister. So for you guys who don't like that, I call her good looking. I mean, to each their own, right? But she's a staunch feminist. Whether it's about the Bible, whether it's something that helps, because there is nothing Anton just said that wouldn't benefit a man. Everything he said wouldn't benefit a woman. Everything Anton Daniels just said is that at the end of the day, men and women are supposed together. That's the core of the message. He's saying women should stop trying to be independent of a man and realize that they need each other. The men and women need each other. And she just said that's scary. If that's not being a feminist, I don't know what else. So to her, a man and a woman being together, relying on each other, building together is scary because she thinks her career and her job and her boss is safer than building with a man. Look at her face.
You just, I got a problem. You don't get it under me. If you don't get under me, you're nothing.
Look at her.
If you don't get under me, you'll never be anything.
Look at
A
her.
woman's power is
Look
a woman's power
Look
is
at
in
her.
her femininity, though. That's where she shines.
They can deny it all they want, but that's
A woman's power is in her femininity.
Wait, Tommy, you're right about that.
And I think a high value woman is a woman that's able to retain a man, not a woman who's went to college and got a degree. A high value woman is a woman that's able to retain a man and get him to marry her and have a fulfilling life with this man.
There's women that go and get degrees.
Yeah.
Do you know that university?
It's not your degree. It's the fact that.
Well,
here's the thing.
You have degrees for shit that wasn't even relevant. There's women that's going to get doctorates in business. You can't even use that shit. But they continue in a search for something that's not there.
Okay.
That's honestly, this is the honest to God truth.
So women should not have any personal pursuits or goals that they want to pursue. Women should not get educated because we should only be living for a man to choose us one day.
That's not what he said. Oh my God. I don't know how anyone listened to Anton and came up. Obviously, Jazz is a feminist, so I should understand why she came up with that conclusion, because she sees everything as negative. He simply said the same energy women put in education, career, degree, everything else, they should put into building a family. They shouldn't be put into being independent, because at the end of the day, the man and the woman need each other. That was the foundation of his message. And she's talking about, so you don't want women to work? You don't? No. Of course women have to work, especially if the man doesn't have the money to pay for everything in the house. Him and the wife are going to get together. But where it becomes an issue, if the wife realizes the man can't pay everything and for her lifestyle, and she decides to break up the family, to divorce the guy because she wants to go and live on her own, independent, because the guy can't pay her bills. That's the crazy thing.
So until that happens, what do? We don't go to school. We don't pursue degrees.
He didn't say that.
We're not self-sufficient. What do? We have to.
It's not that you shouldn't, but that doesn't make you high value.
What do you think, Stephanie? We as human beings, as women, we're still human beings, right? So we still have our own personal goals and aspirations.
Be feminine.
Now, should we as women also embrace our femininity? Sure, but I don't think that we should be downplaying women wanting to pursue personal accomplishments up until she finds a man that she can do life with. Like, what are we saying? Like, we just walk around.
Nobody gives a fuck about your personal.
But what are you saying then, Anton? Are you saying that women should just sit around and be stagnant until a man come find you? Because we.
No, he didn't say sit around and wait for a man to come find you. He simply said women put so much energy and focus on their careers and degrees, and by the time they wake up, they are no man, because you've been putting all. Because relationships also take work. Relationships take you to actually be intentional. So if all your focus is in career and degrees and all these things and working, the man doesn't come from the sky and fall on your laps. You actually have to put some intentionality if you want a family. You have to put yourself in places where you're going to find a husband, or you have to make yourself wifey material so the husband can wife you. He who finds a wife finds a good thing. The presumption is you are a wife before the man even found you. That means you had wifely qualities. But if you're focusing on career and you're not picking up wife skills, you're never going to be found. He didn't say sit around and just wait for a man.
We do know that most men aren't ready to even make that step.
Think about it, Jazz. Listen.
What are we supposed to do? Are we not supposed to?
Think about it for a second. Think about it. This is so basic. If you get a personal accomplishment versus if I got a personal accomplishment, mine is going to mean more than yours.
True.
That's subjective.
No, it's not. It's not, because like I said, and I've said 1,000 times before, no matter how many degrees, how many careers, how many millions of dollars a woman has, at the end of the day, she wants the man she's going to be with to come in and pay her bills. So that's why Anton is saying it doesn't matter, because you're not planning to spend that money on the man or on the kids, unless you're a single mom, then maybe. But if it's in a marriage, in a household with a man and woman, no matter how much she makes, most times she would prefer the man to use his money to pay for everything in the house, and she keeps some money. So which means her degrees don't matter.
So, but here's the thing: my personal accomplishment is about me. It's not about you.
Thank you.
So because
Selfish.
So because I go and pursue something, that's a bigger accomplishment for me.
That's
I could care less
selfish.
if you think that your
The
accomplishment.
value of your accomplishment is based off of
Compliment.
how it. The value of your accomplishment is based off of how it contributes into society.
Facts.
My accomplishment as a man is way more value than your accomplishment as a woman.
That is not true. And that's
the world don't give a fuck about.
It's not true to you.
I'm telling you, Jazz, listen, Jazz, when a woman
there's so many women that have invented things that you use every day.
No, it's not a lie. When a woman
it actually is. When a woman
accomplishes something,
quite a few basic things.
She accomplishes it for herself. When a man accomplishes something, at the very least, he has accomplished it for his family, if not the world.
Okay, that's
all your accomplishments are for you. Listen, I went and visited. I went and visited the Basketball Hall of Fame. I went and visited the Basketball Hall of Fame, right? Like 2 weeks ago, over in Springfield, Massachusetts. The women were an afterthought. They included them as like a diversity, equity, and inclusion thing. Everybody that walked through there, nobody gave a fuck about any woman that was in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Okay, we're talking about basketball though.
I'm using it as a talking point to illustrate a bigger point of what happens in the world with everything.
People don't really.
Nobody cares about what women do unless it's attached to a man.
That's not true at all.
It's so true. It's so
it's not. It's not, babe.
What did you do today, Jazz? Nobody
minding my business,
and nobody cares because it wasn't time.
Minding my business. But my thing.
Yo, 2K is funny. It's like 2K is put on the panel to pull Jazzy's tail. You know what I mean? You know when you want a piece of a dog and it's wagging its tail, just keep pulling the tail every time. Pull the tail, run away. The dog will be mad at you. It's like that's why Y2K is on the panel to piece of Jazz.
But my thing is this.
Somebody said Cheryl Miller. We don't give a fuck about Cheryl Miller. We care about Reggie Miller. The only reason we give a fuck about Cheryl Miller is because that's Reggie Miller's sister.
Are you that obsessed with men that you can't acknowledge the accomplishments that women have actually contributed and continue to contribute to the society? Are you that pseudo-masculine that you think that it'll somehow take away from your masculinity to acknowledge the fact that women actually contribute just as much, if not more, to the society that you live in today?
More?
You can't sit here and say that you like we don't care about these women, we don't care about these women when we're literally carrying, helping you, assisting with you, carrying society. You cannot acknowledge that. And
I mean, she's kind of right. Women have contributions to society. So if we're going to talk about nurses, teachers, education is full of women. So yeah, some doctors obviously. But I think teachers, nurturing roles like teachers, nurses, some doctors, and which industries have the most women? Education, nursing, I guess HR, social work, therapy. But men, I mean, if we're gonna, there is the men. This is all I can say. But yeah, she's right. Women do contribute to society. But I think when it comes, but like she said, she does those things for herself. So in other words, what I think Anton Daniels is trying to say, what they do, they don't do for the family. They do to make money, but they keep the money for themselves. It's not like they make the money to provide for the family because they want the man to come and provide for the family.
We care about the women that help us.
No, we care about women.
And I think that's
he still would have got it done without her.
That's not true.
I think it's an ego thing with men. Some men up to date that they can't get past. They feel like if I acknowledge a woman, then that means I'm a simp or I'm a
women who think that men are intimidated by them are delusional.
Hold on. You know what it is? Honestly, Jazz, I think you got it. You got it misunderstood. Like you really confused.
I don't think so, babe.
But
I'm
let me
listening
explain it
to
to
you.
you. Let me
I'm
tell
listening
you.
to you.
It's
Y'all
not.
women
It's not that it's like a. We don't give a fuck. That's the thing.
Well, guess what?
We
The thing
genuinely
is,
don't give a fuck. You know why? Because we're always. God bless us. It just is what it is. It's unfair.
and God also blesses women. And as Black people, we're blessed together. We're better and greater together. You know?
Yeah, but you have been talking about how you want to be independent. Independent of who? Of men. So you can't say we are better together, Jazz. You can't change now. Just stay with your feminist mindset, Jazz. Don't change now.
No.
How we know that it takes two, though?
Let me tell you what I told my chick.
It's a badge of honor you have being a married husband.
Let me tell you what I told my chick. Let me tell you what I told my chick. I told her, and I've said this before. I said, I love you. I appreciate you. You such a good mother. I was gonna be great with or without you. It's so good that it's so good that you're here as a co-pilot. But I was gonna be great. I was destined to be great. You the one I chose.
It's like
You blessed. You're blessed. No. I'm sorry. You're blessed to be here. You're blessed.
And so are you.
It could have been anybody in the world, but
so are you.
God chose you.
And so are you. And I feel like a lot of successful men will tell you that they didn't reach their peak success until they found a good woman to hold them down in a relationship.
No, I think majority of men who say that, they say that to make the woman feel good, if we're gonna be honest. To make her feel like she was part of his success. But I think a man who's destined for success is gonna be successful with or without a woman. That's my opinion.
You can shake your head because that's not your ideology. You don't think women contribute anything to a man's success, and that's fine. But that's not a fact.
Hey, it's a reason why superheroes don't have girlfriends. It's the reason why superheroes don't have girlfriends, Jazz. Peter Parker couldn't keep a bitch. Superman couldn't keep one, and Batman couldn't keep one.
It's only one me.
Power, you struggle.
It's only one.
You talking about Marvel?
I'm letting y'all know that having a woman is more of an anchor than y'all think it is.
Y'all genuinely need to be listen. Y'all need to be appreciative of the men that's around y'all and in y'all life.
I know I am.
Because it's only one us, and at any point we can replace y'all and we will be just fine.
Same.
Yo, some of you guys don't like Jazz, but I'm starting to like Jazz. I'm gonna be honest. Her antics, she's funny. And I think Anton knows that he gets under her skin. And 2K, these two know they can bring it out of Jazz. So they say everything they know she's gonna try to fight. They say everything they know she's not going to. Because think about it. She's quiet. Obviously, Q is a host too. She's kind of quiet. Mercedes hasn't said anything. But Jazz has been going back and forth with these two. But I think they know that. And she never backs down. She doesn't like to back down. But, I think she's funny. Obviously, I don't agree with like 99% what she says, but she's funny.
And that's honest to God truth.
Everybody.
At any point.
Exactly.
No. Some of us are not replaceable. Some of us leave a mark on the world that just is the void that cannot be filled.
They know that the tools they use every day to quote unquote help us was all made by a man. It's funny how y'all wake up every fucking morning and forget that men made the world this way so y'all could do shit.
We appreciate men. Let's
okay.
We appreciate men for the role that they play, but appreciate a woman for the role that she plays. And how I know and how
we have literally made the world so easy. No, this ain't semantics. We have literally made the world so easy that y'all can push a button and go to work. When our great grandfather was getting it out the mud, it was all physical hard labor. There wasn't a woman complaining about coming out the fucking cave or the kitchen then.
But when men went to war, who took it over? Women did.
Yeah, but that was like what, couple years in the entire history. where men came, they went to war, they came back. It's not like they went and stayed in war for 10 years, Jess. So I don't know why women keep using that excuse. They went to war for a couple months, I don't know, maybe years for World War II or World War One, and then they came back. But even then, some men stayed. The whole country of men didn't go. You know, so I don't know why they keep using that point.
When men went to war, women took over that work. And
Not
then
all
if you
of
want
them.
another example of women and their impact, what's that Tyler Perry movie, 6, 7, 8, 748, whatever it is, where the women came up with a system that men couldn't even fix. The men couldn't even fix. The women came up with it and solved the issue and got all the male out.
Listen, the whole world, every man in
That's the
America.
best example.
Y'all came in.
Do you have a home security system? Do the men on the panel? Do the men on the panel?
Sorry, you say what?
Do you own a home security system?
I got a
Because that was
concierge.
invented by.
I got a concierge. I don't have a home security system.
Okay, whatever the case may be, that whole
That's honestly that's
system
true. I got a concierge.
of home security. No, that's fine.
Home security.
No, that Marie Van Brown was the one who invented it. That was a woman, right? So
Who
to help you.
Who did it the electricity to make it work?
She did that.
I don't know why Jazz is trying to name things women invented. Because she's no, if men start mentioning things men invented, it's not going to be fair. Like, she's not going to have enough mentions to counter what the men have to mention. So she's playing a dangerous game. She would never win. If men start mentioning things men have invented versus women, men are going to win. So I don't know why she thinks mentioning a security system is a good point.
Laser cataract treatment. Also,
but who gave birth to him?
A woman developed the laser Phaco Pro, which revolutionized laser eye surgery. That was done by a woman. Another one,
And then at the end of the day, go in the room.
Women make an impact in society.
Take that nightgown off.
Do that, Mr. Tom.
At the end of the day, go in the room, take that nightgown off.
See, it always comes back to sex with you. It always goes
Y'all ain't know some glorified fucking vending machines, man. I'm gonna put this cord in you. You had this baby and just wait for it to pop out.
Y'all sound like
y'all just some fucking vending machines, man. Just be quiet.
Why?
No, listen. No. And listen, I love women. I say it all the time.
EPS technology, that's another one.
The majority of people
Portable
that are around
tablets,
me
that's another
are
one.
women, but they just understand. The reason that they thrive is because they understand the hierarchy.
Damn, just push out the baby.
The Bible says the man who finds a wife finds a good thing. So that means that a woman is a wife before she even meets a man. And that's why I said the best thing you could do before you meet a man is just to be feminine, be in your feminine energy.
You know what's so funny? Exactly. All of these guys that pander to y'all and simp to y'all,
they don't want them.
I don't even want them niggas.
Facts. Facts. Women don't. The guys who put the Derek Jacksons and all these guys, I've seen some guys on TikTok, you know, who shit on men, say the worst things about men in order to impress women. And they have so many views. They make so much money. If you want to make money, make a channel where you trash men and uplift women. Oh my God, all the women will be in your comments, so they will give you all the money in the world. But those guys, women don't want them. Now, unless you're Derek Jackson, because, you know, he's tall, he's buff, pretty good looking guy. They don't mind that kind of guy. These other guys, they don't want them. In real life, they don't want them.
Uplifting and like being positive towards Black women or women in general consider a pander. Why? And like, it's if you're not being anti-woman, then you're a pander. It's like, damn. Why can't we?
Why were we anti-woman? Because we just saying what the nature of people are.
Because anytime you hear a man uplifting, showing respect, showing kindness, or anything towards a woman, you instantly call him a simp. You instantly call him a panderer. Why can't he just be a decent human being?
And you think that I'm nice?
Who understands?
You think that I'm nice towards Mercedes?
Dad, you see Mercedes raising her
hand? You think that I'm nice towards Mercedes?
That's a well-mounted woman right there. Mercedes raising her fingers.
Don't do that. Come on. But that's a perfect example of where I was going to, because it's like if y'all can't find us,
I just have a question.
If y'all can't find us sexually attractive or objectify us, then you can't respect it. And it's okay.
Oh no, that's not true. Wait a minute. So you don't think I respect you, Jazz?
I don't really know. All I'm saying is that I hear a lot of times when a man gets on here, has nothing to prove, has nothing to gain, when he's respectful towards the woman, y'all instantly calling him a simp.
No,
Just being respectful or trying to pander to get some internet coochie. It's like, when are we going to grow up? Like, are you really thinking that no man can come up here and be respectful without trying to pander to get some
I'm
pussy?
respectful towards whoever is respectful towards me.
But I have also heard you say that you need your female friends to at least your friends to at least have their pussy on the table available for you. She want
it. Look at Q. Q's face changed because she's Anton Daniel's friend. That's a wild accusation. But guys, I mean, I've reacted to almost the whole video, so I'll put down the link below so you guys can finish. This was funny, so I wanted you guys to watch it because Jazz was back on the panel. All right, next up we have Lapeef, man. They've been going crazy recently. This is a good conversation, so let's get into it.
What are your thoughts about women are creating a future of leadership, opportunity, and empowerment?
I think women are trying. I get it. They are trying. You know what I mean? They trying to deal with the world with the hand that they were dealt. But the problem, and Shan kind of alluded to this, is you can't do that without your man. You can't do that while putting down and simultaneously put down your man or weaponize it against your man. That's where the problem comes into play. Or you do it in spite of your man. Because all the other, like if we look at all the other communities, they do with. So when everybody else is getting educated, they're getting educated with. Trev, do your wife have a higher education?
Yes.
Bruiser? Mine's tried, but you know, she a hairstylist and I'm a barber, so it wasn't for lack of trying. But we don't have a problem with our women getting educated. The problem is when you do it to spite the men that you're supposed to be with. When you're saying, I'm gonna do this so that I don't have to deal with you. That's where we draw the line at. That's why your education doesn't matter to us. Because you're telling me that the only reason why you're getting it is to be away from me.
I mean, that makes sense. Women never say, I went to school, to get a degree to make money so I can provide for my family or so forth. Unless she's a single mom, then that's different. But usually in the beginning, they say they want to go to school, make money, to be independent. Independent of who? Of men. And that's why they scream, I'm strong and independent, don't need no man. So, and then when men say, okay, yeah, it's good you have a degree, but I don't care for it. Oh, how can you not care about my degree? But it's like men want different things from women. Women want different things from men. And one of the things men don't really care about is the education and the degrees, unfortunately. We want different things.
Or leverage it.
Or leverage it against me. You're absolutely right. Go get your education. And he's going to go get certified in plumbing or some shit like that. And you're going to become a school teacher or whatever y'all do with y'all education. School teachers get with plumbers all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Get a business degree and become that's an expensive secretarial degree, but I mean, hey, do you, but you're supposed to do you alongside your men. You cannot, there is no getting ahead that y'all can't leapfrog us or try to leave us behind or any of that because it inherently does not work. Not because I'm telling y'all the job, but it just doesn't work. Just like we can't get forward without y'all. Because without y'all, there's no children. Without y'all, there's no family. Without us, there's no protection. Without us, there's no family. Without us, there's no children. Without us, there's no growth. So her champion, and I think Amir said it, it sounds as if, again, and Cheyenne Bryant kills me sometimes, but you're saying it again in spite of men. Just like on that show where she said black women are running circles around black men. Because we decided not to go to college? Because we decided, hey, I'm gonna go be an electrician, or I'll go be a mechanic, I'll go be a, because I chose that, and you chose your a degree in education or whatever. I don't know exactly what women are choosing their degrees in. Well, because you chose your degree in that, that means that you're running circles around me.
Yeah, and I think that's the issue men have these days. It's like when a man decides to become an electrician, gets a trade to become a plumber, whatever kind of trade they get, women who get degrees kind of feel like they're better than these guys who got trades. And it's a weird dynamic. And they say, I want a man on my level. And if she has a degree, she went to college without student loan debt, and this guy went to a trade school without any student loan debt, but he's still making good money. They claim he's not on, she claims the guy who with the trade, who's a plumber, electrician, is not on her level because he didn't go to college, because he didn't decide to get $50,000 in student loan debt. And that's crazy to me. It's like they're passing over all these good guys, good, stable guys with stable careers because they didn't go to college. Like that criteria of choosing a partner is probably, I don't know who started that trend. I've seen it on social media, on TikTok. They claim men who didn't get degrees are bad, and men who have blue collar jobs, trades, electrician, plumbers, HVAC, they're not good enough.
Because I chose a trade, and you chose a degree. We both in the same boat, regardless. You make $50-some thousand off of your degree. I make $50-some thousand off of my goddamn trade. And hopefully, you know what I mean? Shout out to Shan, she a school teacher. Hopefully one day she becomes an administrator. And then, she don't want to do that. But you progress, and then I progress. But if you're going to try to go it alone, then your degree means jack shit to us. That's why we say that. Your education means jack shit to us if you're going to go it alone.
Oh my God, Sweeney, you worded that so well. If you want to go at it alone, it means nothing to us.
And
I think that, sorry.
Oh no, I'm done.
I think that people, and that's the thing, like we gotta have real conversation. People are not doing it alone. They just not getting married. This is the problem. People keep saying it ain't nobody. If you talk to people in the streets and you speak to, more than likely, you go to a girl, she's already talking to somebody. You talk to men, he's talking to somebody. They're just not getting married. The bigger question is, why are y'all in these long relationships doing whatever you're doing and you're not getting married? We don't value marriage. That's the real issue here.
That's true.
It ain't got nothing to do with nothing else. We don't value marriage.
Yeah, but ask yourself why. Why don't we value marriage? Maybe because you as a woman, you were taught that marriage is slavery. Maybe because you were taught that in the marriage, you're going to be controlled by a man because he wants you to stay and, stay home as he provides, and stay home and cook as he goes out to, find the money to pay for the bills at home. Or maybe you were taught that, in a marriage, you can just easily divorce the man anytime you want, and men are saying, maybe I shouldn't get married. So what's the reason why?
Our race of people, for whatever reason, we don't value marriage. That's where the real problem.
I argue that we value it too much, because people will have a baby before they get married because they'll say a marriage is too much of a commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Well, or they look at it as a burden, right? They look at it as a bigger responsibility. But then again, there it is. It's still a value. It's like you don't want it enough to even take on the responsibility of it. I'd rather do without.
Or you hold it in such high esteem that you don't want to mess it up. People that mess up having multiple children fathers, but they don't want to get married and have a divorce. I think they feel that's a bigger mark against them than anything. From what I've heard people who discussed having a baby and because they got a couple of different people that go and interview people on the street, and they're like, would you rather have, what's more of a commitment to you, a marriage or a baby? And the people all say a marriage.
And were these younger people, like 30s and younger?
They were 35 and down.
Yeah, and I think it's within that generation where marriage is not as important. And since the men are the ones that would have to propose the marriage to begin with, I think a lot of men nowadays who are 35 and younger, for one, don't want to be married because they see the burden, I guess, that comes along with being married. They don't feel that a lot of women are marriage material, and they don't feel ready for marriage. I feel that a lot of men, and this goes back to the education thing. Yes, a lot of men could go out and get trades instead of going to school, but they're not, it's men that aren't doing that either. They don't know what they want to do. And instead of trying to figure that out, they spend a lot of their time being lost, even up until their 30s. So I feel our generation isn't even thinking about marriage until they get to their 40s or 50s. That's when they finally feel like they've made it to that place where they are finally an adult and can make adult decisions like marrying someone.
So Ty, the reason why I brought up the trades, right? Because this is not to say, because most black people, also most black men, most black women don't go to college either. That's a fact. However, if I was to make an argument for who a woman who is educated at least at a bachelor's degree level, who is her socioeconomic equivalent, it would be the man that goes to trade school. So that's why I brought it up. Most black folks are just working regular ass jobs. They work in customer service, the UPS, the post office, Amazon. You know, they're doing those type of things, or they you know what I mean. But and that's men and women across the board, and most men are just are doing some of the same jobs.
Yeah, but the issue is average women don't want average men. And if the average woman has a college degree, she doesn't want a man who doesn't have a college degree, even if she has $100,000 in student loan debt. And if she happens to find a man, she expects the man to help her pay off her student loan debt. So it's like, it's the standards. And like I said, I don't know if it's the social media. I don't know where all these weird standards women have. But for as long as women have all these crazy standards where they overlook normal average men because they don't make enough to take them to Dubai and to Turks and Caicos and to Cancun in Mexico, as long as those are standards they have, the marriage and the relationship and the dating is going to keep going down and down and down. Some men are going to check out, some men are going to go to Brazil, to Colombia, and some men are just going to give up. Because if you're saying I have to take you to a $200 dinner date for you to know that I have money or I'm willing to spend it or that I like you, then I'm not going to do it. Because what have you done? What have you done for me to take you to a $200 dinner date that I don't even buy for myself? You feel me? So men are doing the math and they're saying, oh, you know what? This is not worth it. Anyway, man, shout out to Lapif. Link down below to the full video. All right, next up, we're going to go to Rich Cooper. They had a nice panel of ladies and the two men, good conversation. So let's get into it.
There's not top shelf men out there are not
okay,
looking
Moff,
for
I want to wait. I want to stop there. No, I want to stop you there because that's your opinion.
I'm going to stop you. No.
That is your.
We're going to mute you because guess what? When I start talking, you don't interrupt me on my show. So let's just be respectful of each other here. I gave you your chance to talk. Now I'm going to talk.
What do you think about if a guy says he's not going to take you seriously if you're still talking to other people?
Yeah, what guy's going to put a ring on your finger if you're still dating other men?
You said what guy is going to put a ring on your finger? So like I explained, like dating and having sex are two different things. That's something that you have to understand. And I feel like most people, I don't know if you've been out in the dating scene or not, while men are talking to one woman, they go and talk to multiple women.
Women do the same thing. And the difference is women have multiple guys in their DMs. So they can pick and choose whenever they want to go on free food dinner dates. Ghost this guy takes her out, this guy flies her out, this guy does this guy sends a cash up. So on average, women are going to have more options than men. So for you to claim that men are talking to different women, him sending a text, a DM, and they don't respond to it doesn't mean he's talking to multiple women.
As well, and even have sex with them. I'm so sure all these ladies listening, they would agree with me. They know how it is out there. Exactly. Elisha is like, yeah, the men out there, they're talking to other people. You're not doing something. There is a lot of sexism when it comes to things like this, because the truth is you're trying to find a life partner that is good for you. The thing is, like, it's not about a man. A man who's ready will see you as the person you are, and it doesn't matter like who you are. It's just, yes, are you the woman that works for that man, or is that man the person who's going to work for you? So let me explain this, right?
Yeah, please do. I don't know what you're talking about this.
All right,
I'm gonna
let
try
me
to
tell you.
restate
All
the
right.
question. Hold on, please.
Okay.
Because I've like this is like 3 times in a row where I've asked a very simple question and you are just off on some fucking dream world. I don't know what you're talking about. So what I'm asking is, why would a guy ever take you seriously and want to put a ring on your finger if he knows that you're still entertaining other men? Why, like, what guy on the planet is going to do that? Or why do you think a guy would do that? Why do you think a guy would say, I want to marry you and make you my wife, when he knows the night before you were just out dating or going out with some other guy and some other dude is trying to court you? Like, why would he want to do that?
I think when a man knows that there's other people that want to date you, and if he sees the value in you, he will put a ring faster, because you have to put, like me, I will tell a guy like, hey, I am dating you and I really like you. But if a guy is taking more time, then I will tell him like, hey, this doesn't work for me. A guy is more faster. And a lot of women agree when you put him like, hey, I have other options too. But the thing is, like, if you're not going to do this and you don't see me as a partner, then you know what I mean? The person will put a ring on you faster. I don't think you understand that.
No man, no smart man would ever do that. No smart man with options, with common sense, would put a ring on a woman's finger after she just told him she's talking to multiple other guys. That's a stupid man. And clearly, that's a man who doesn't mind you cheating on him even during a marriage. Seriously.
No, I do understand that. I think you're wrong. There's not top shelf men out there are not
Okay,
looking
Moff,
for
I want to
women.
wait.
Hold
I
on,
want to
hold
stop
on,
there. No,
hold
I
on.
want to stop you
Hold on.
there
No,
because that's your
I'm
opinion.
gonna stop you. No.
That is your.
We're gonna mute you because guess what? When I start talking, you don't interrupt me on my show. So let's just be respectful of each other here. I gave you your chance to talk. Now I'm gonna talk, and you can. I've muted you. Sheetha, nobody can hear you right now. Okay, so I'll unmute you after I'm done with my point. My point is, guys out there that have options with women, guys out there that the women want, especially women on this panel or women like that women in general want, guys don't take seriously women that are entertaining other options. What makes you think that a guy is going to get down on one knee knowing that you are entertaining other men? It's just not going to happen. Like, a woman's flexing, saying, I'm dating around, I'm seeing a bunch of other men, I'm this hot piece of ass. That is not a turn on to men that are looking for an actual woman to settle down with. Like,
facts. No man celebrates. Like, I've never seen a man celebrating, oh my God, I went out to a date with this nice, gorgeous woman. Can you imagine? She told me she's going to go to a date to other guys tomorrow. Oh my God, God send me an angel. Like, no man ever says that. Like, that's dumb. In fact, most guys who are desperate won't mind, especially if she's like really gorgeous. They will mind, but because they have no options, they will just let her do whatever she wants. But any guy with respect, self-respect, is not going to continue seeing a woman who just told him she's going on dates with multiple men. Now some guys already, you should, just know that if a woman you're going out with, she probably has other men she's going on dates with. So it's up to you to make a choice whether you want to take it serious or not. But if she tells you and you keep going out with her, you deserve everything that's coming your way.
Like, that's not a flex. And you talked about like sexism in this space. It's like men and women aren't the same. First of all, there's different standards that apply. You can call it a double standard all you want, but a double standard only exists if you're talking about two parties that are seen as equal off the bat. Since men and women are not seen as equal off the bat, then double standard therefore cannot exist. But the point that I'm trying to make, it's like, I think it's a terrible strategy to be saying, hey, I'm seeing a bunch of other men and I'm letting a bunch of other men take me out on dates and I'm entertaining and giving my time and attention away to a bunch of other men. So you better giddy up, dude, because I'm such a hot commodity that you're going to lose out on me. A dude that has options and he can pick whatever woman he wants to pick, he's going to tell you to take a walk. That's just my opinion on it.
So the thing is, like you said, that's your opinion that a dude can say that, but you have to understand there are women who have the same power that the man have. Like,
women
me as
don't
a woman,
have power over top shelf men. Women have no power over top shelf men because you're competing.
I don't think you understand when you say top shelf men. I am somebody where I have access. I don't think okay. So I am someone who has access to men financially stable, mentally stable. I date, listen, I date to marry. So that is the reason my goal is not just to pick a man for myself, but to pick a man who's going to be right for my children, my future, my family. So that is the reason why I have to pick the best person for myself.
That's fine.
Yeah, but if you are dating to marry and you want to pick the best man, and you just said you have dated all these top shelf men, or you have access to all these top shelf men, how come none of them has chosen you as his wife? I'm always wondering, like I always have that question when women say this, oh, I have so many options, all these men want me, but somehow you're still single and unmarried. All these rich guys want you, but clearly no one has put a ring on your finger. And if they have, clearly maybe you don't want them. So are they really good options? Are they really top shelf if they don't want you and maybe you don't want them? I don't know why women say that as a flex.
You can pick the best guy. That's fine. Yeah, I understand that.
And
Okay.
now that you said, why do top shelf? I still have one ring right now. I'm the person who broke up with the person, but I've been proposed to not once, not twice. 5.
And they keep saying this bullshit. I've been proposed to 1,000 times. Yeah, but 1,000 times you're not married. So it doesn't matter. You feel me? It doesn't matter. You could have 1,000,000 rings from 1,000,000 guys. If you're not married to one of them, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we count marriages. We don't count engagements. Clearly, you are not good enough, or they are not good enough. And this is the issue. They keep looking, they keep hoping they're going to find Mr. Right. And then in 10, 15, 20 years, she's going to look back and be like, you know what? All those 4 guys that I turned down, one of them was my husband. In fact, if you guys have heard of this saying, I think Anton Daniels, I heard it from Anton Daniels, and I think I heard it from CGA as well, that most women have already met the man who was supposed to be their husband and they let him go. I will say it one more time. Most women have met the man of their life, the man supposed to be their husband, but they let him go. They missed out on him because they're looking for the greener pastures.
You're not married, but you're not married to
5
any of them.
times.
Why aren't you married then?
Why didn't I get married?
Why aren't you married to any of those 5?
Because the thing is, at a certain point, I realized they're not the kind of person I want to be with.
Exactly.
Or have children with.
So it doesn't matter.
My choice.
That's what I'm trying to say. The guys that are getting down on one knee or proposing to you, they're not even the guys that you want. And the guys that you do want are not going to get down and propose to you knowing that you're dating and entertaining other men.
Exactly.
You're just making my point for me.
Yeah.
She doesn't get
Did
it.
you say that you
not
still
see
have
that?
one of those rings as well?
Well, yeah, he was a rich guy. Let me keep the ring.
So
you say you stole a rich guy's ring. Guys, we have a thief on our hand. A rich guy proposed to her. She broke off the engagement and she kept the ring. Oh my God. Clearly, that's what I'm saying. They look back. She's going to look back because maybe she thought, no, she's not a bad looking woman, but she still thinks to this day that she's going to meet multiple rich men, that there's still so many rich men out there who want her, not knowing that every woman on this panel wants those same rich guys, which means there's not enough to go around. So in 10, 15 years, she's going to still keep hoping that the rich guy comes for her.
Why would a guy give you a ring if it means nothing when you take it?
Exactly. What do you mean? I don't understand you.
You took the ring and you still left.
Think about what a loser that guy is.
So
He gave you the ring,
why
you
on earth
rejected him,
would
and then
any
he gave it
guy
to you to keep?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Wait,
why
say
on
it
earth would
again.
any guy want to get down on his knee and give you a ring if giving you that ring doesn't mean you'll stay?
And beyond that, why would a new man learn that, hey, so you mean a guy in your past proposed to you, you broke off the engagement and you kept the ring. Why would I now propose to you as well when you're still keeping your ex's ring? Like, no man in his right mind is going to propose to her if he knows that information.
I don't think you understand this. If somebody gives you a ring, okay, if somebody proposes to you, right, as a woman, that, like, a woman gets the ring first and the man doesn't get a ring. But the thing is, like, if you see in a man's behavior that he is not performing the way you want him to be in a relationship, that's when you exit. And as a woman, unless you are legally tied down, you have the right to exit at any moment. If you
And that is the reason why men don't want to get married. So you exit at any moment. And God forbid it was a marriage. Then the guy would, because he's a rich guy, like she said, that the guy would have lost half of his wealth because she can exit at any moment she doesn't like something. So when men hear what she's saying, men are like, I ain't getting married. Now, maybe rich guys don't watch YouTube the way we do. So that's why you see so many of them still get, get messed up in divorce court because they don't watch or listen to women speak like this. But average guy, normal guys like me are not watching this and saying, oh my God, I can't wait to get married because she can leave at any time she wants and take half of everything and throw me out of my house.
feel like the man is not somebody, because most of the time these men that have proposed to me, the first one was like within 3 months, the second was within 6 months. So I'm just saying, I have like 2 rings, but the 5 of them, like I had to like tell them like, hey, I'm not gonna get married. Do the last 3. But what I'm trying to tell you is that I, as a woman, have the right to decide, like, hey, okay, this person's not gonna work out for me. Like one of them was traveling a lot, like he used to travel a lot. That doesn't mean that he wasn't giving me what I wanted, but the thing is, there was infidelity involved, not from my side, from the men's side. And I said, would I want my child to have
But didn't
this?
you just say if you're not married, then anything goes and you can do whatever you want until there's a ring on your finger and the wedding certificate is signed? So how can you call that infidelity? If you're still entertaining dudes until you're married, then why can't that guy entertain other women?
I didn't think you understand. Okay, if you go back, I said if somebody puts a ring on your finger, then that means you're monogamous. Okay, and I think everybody else, the girls, understood that. Then from that point on, anything that happens is infidelity.
She's just trying to control the dynamics of the relationship. But it's not gonna work, especially when you're dealing with those kind of men, the rich guys that every other woman wants. If I'm gonna be honest, at the end of the day, they have that leverage. Now, could she be lucky and find a rich guy who doesn't understand the game and just does whatever she wants? But eventually, she will leave him because she will walk all over him and she will become unattracted to him. But what do you guys think? Shout out to Rich Cooper, link down below. All right, next up we have Anton Daniels, man. They were going off. So without further ado, let's go into the video.
I think it's time that we stop congratulating women that leave men in relationships. Like, good job, girl. He was a piece of shit anyway. I knew that you could leave him. Meanwhile, old Sally hasn't given her man Pound Town in over a year, and her man's mentally drained, going insane, finally steps out, and Sally notices that Tom's cheating, and now he's the fucking problem. I think we really need to start normalizing that most of the problem in good marriages that were good in the beginning, and because the woman isn't holding up her end of the relationship anymore. Oh, I'm too tired. Oh, my stomach hurts. Oh, I have a headache. I don't want to right now. Like, I think that happens more often than not. And then when the man does step out, all the other women are like, girl, he was a piece of shit anyway. Girl, he wasn't worth it. Girl, blah, blah, blah. When in actuality, you had a good ass man. You just didn't know how to maintain him.
Okay, once you get him, you got to maintain them. Who disagrees with her? Go ahead, Jess.
Of course, Jess disagrees.
She got me low key, well, high key tight. It's a couple different points I want to touch on in this particular video, right?
Yeah.
As a woman, I do not think you should withhold sex from your husband. I'll preface that. However, if you have a wife, you want to put her in a position where she wants to be intimate with you. I talked about this on a panel before. A lot of times women have kids. They're the main caretakers. The man just go to work, kick his feet up. She got to come home. She got to cook dinner, take care of the kids, do the homework, swing from the chandelier. He wanted to work out, do X, Y. A lot of women are exhausted. And then he won't even give her some romance. You just want to do bang, bang, chicken, bang. But it's like, did you warm the engine up? Did you make her feel special? Did you make her? I mean, and that's not to say you need it every time you go to Pound Town, but it's like, to some extent, women are built a little bit different. So you need to nurture that a little bit more. And I will say this, the other issue is men don't know how to handle heartbreak. A man can get his heart broke one time in the 5th grade, and not every woman after that is just the devil. So I think that also ties into the subject as well. You had a good man.
Well, that's because men love for real. And that's because men know how hard it is to get a woman and invest. So you're telling me this guy has invested in you, he has done all these things, he has spent his money on you, time and all these things. So of course it's going to hurt him more. You, on the other hand, even if you're in a relationship, you still have men throwing themselves at you in your DMs. Even if you go out in the street, men are going to approach you even if you have a ring on your finger showing you're married. So it's going to be easier for you to move on because you can just replace me as soon as you break up with me. So that's why it hurts deeper for men once they break up, because now I got to do this again and then risk my resources again, because now I got to find a new you, approach, do dates, spend money, invest feelings, invest time, and then there's a chance you may also leave me because I didn't romance you before getting intimate, before sex. Like, no.
Whereas it relates to women, women get our hearts broken every time, but we're more willing to open our hearts up again, whereas men, they're not willing to do that. So that's my take on it.
You said a bunch of lies, but it's okay. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll fix it on the way.
I agree with some of the points she made. I feel like a lot of women do get like settled into their relationship and they get, complacent, and they feel like they don't got to do all the stuff that they used to do when they had the man. And I feel like men are really like, the prize in a way, because this man got down on one knee. He decided to marry you and decided to be with you for the rest of your life. He didn't decide to be with anybody else. That's a big decision. So it's like, I feel like sometimes it's an excuse for women to say like, oh, I have to deal with the kids. I have to cook, clean. I mean, like, these are things that, our moms were like, we looked at them like, they were able to do everything in the household. And that's something that we looked up to in a way. So I just feel like it's a lot of excuses, and you can just be able to satisfy your man. I feel like it's an excuse. I don't know.
I like that one. Q, where you find that one?
Not that one. Moms was tired. You know what I'm saying? Like our mamas was tired, having to do that. I understand that we see that and we think that's normal to see. Our mothers. If you were raised in a single parent home, I would assume you are used to seeing your mother doing it all. Or even if not, she's caring for her kid and caring for her husband like he is a kid as well. But I want to bring it back to the subject of our women ruining the men.
You know what really gets me? Is that they will mention everything women do in a relationship or in a marriage or in the house, or they clean or they cook or they do this, but they never mention the things men have to sacrifice for the family. They will say how hard it is for them to provide, to cook and clean and take care of the kids and nurture the kids. They complain how hard it is, but they never talk about how hard it is for a man to work 60 hours a week to pay for all the bills in the household. And he can't even take time off, because if he does, they are fucked. He needs to keep working to provide. And then another thing, if you ask them, okay, switch it. You go work the 60 hours, the man will stay home and take care of the kids. They'll be like, no, he's the man. He's supposed to provide. It's like, okay, which is it? Do you want to stay home and cook and clean, or do you want to go and be the provider of the household and bring the money? It's like pick and choose. You can't complain about staying home and cleaning and cooking, and then you're saying he's not helping you, but then you also don't want him to stop working.
I don't think no one should have that type of power. Like, so for me, if it was in the reverse, women go through heartbreak. Women go through, tumultuous relationships. And kind of like what Jeff said, we still go through our process and still make ourselves available to try it again. We don't hold
at least the majority. I know there are some women that do, but we don't hold every man accountable for the hurt that happened to us in our past. At least we shouldn't, right? And I think that if men will just kind of process that heartbreak and process how they felt in that moment, if they felt like they were betrayed or whatever the case may be, then you can't be ruined, because you understand that what that person did to you probably had nothing to do with you. You know what I mean? They were just not the right person for you. They didn't deserve the love that you had to give. That doesn't mean that there isn't a good woman out there that is ready to receive that. So don't block your own blessing by assuming that every woman is the same one woman that broke your heart. Nobody can ruin you. You know what I'm saying? That's you.
I disagree. You know who's the first women that usually ruin these men? Their mamas.
Facts.
It starts off usually by their mamas, right?
Facts.
One parent household, they either choose a messed up daddy, they either trying to son their little sons. That's usually who messes up the men first. It's their mamas.
And then
Speak on it, Q. Speak on it, Q. Because so many times single moms turn their sons into son husbands, into the man of the house. So rather than going to find a new man, a stepdad, I mean, it's not easy to find a stepdad. They make their sons into their husbands, to the extent that I've seen videos where the son, once he finds a woman and is trying to leave the house to go, rent a place and move in with his new woman, his new girlfriend, the mamas don't like it. Their single moms don't like it. They fight it. They hate on the girl that the son finds because they don't want the son, their son husband, to leave them alone.
Need therapy. That's what I'm saying. Like you have to like, if that's really if you have a mother wound like that in your adult life and you're carrying hurt and trauma from your childhood, from your mother, and you're carrying that into your adult relationships, that's not normal. You need to go sit down and talk to somebody and unpack that so you can have fulfilling relationships. And it ain't about everybody else. It's about you. It's about the betterment of you. So while I agree that does happen, that's not an excuse to fester in that and then blame everybody else for why you're not successful in relationships.
Yeah, I believe
We're
men
not
and
trying to
women both
blame.
need
Can I say
therapy.
one thing? It's not about blaming. It's about, are women ruining good men? It's not. We're not saying should men take accountability and not hurt because they mama ruined them or girl. No, it's these women nowadays are ruining their sons, their husbands, their boyfriends because of other issues, other problems. So we can't just be like, yeah, of course you're right. They should.
I think a good man would never let a woman ruin them.
But
What are you talking about? Women ruin good men every day. Good men turn into the bad boys every single day because it's like, so I have to take you out, pay for the dinner, buy you flowers, do all these things, be the nice guy, respect you, call you every single night to say good night, and then you cheat on me with a bad boy who did none of these things? Guess what? Now you just ruined a good man. The whole thing of nice guys finish last, it is a statement because it comes from somewhere, because there's some truth to it. They will get this good guy, and in fact some women will say he's too good of a good guy. He's too good for me. Women have said that all the time. He's too good for me. It's like, so what? You don't want him to be good for you or good to you? And they're like, no, he's boring. He does everything I want. But it's like, so you want it's confusing to men. So most good guys, once they learn the game, it's like, oh, so you mean I should just be a bad boy and tell you to shut up? And guys are ruined like that.
They not men, they little boys. These men are getting ruined by their mamas. Your first love is supposed to be your mama as a son. My first love was my daddy. That's how I learned how to love. These men are not showing that. They're not showing how to love.
I don't know.
Therapy.
If when you say ruin a good
Men don't need
man,
therapy. No man should be in therapy.
do you mean like ruining her opportunities for a good man? Or do you mean she's literally making this man a worse version of himself?
Wait, what was your question?
Yes, I'm saying when you say that she's ruining a good man, do you mean that she's making this man less than, or is she ruining her opportunities to be with one or to find one?
I think they mean in the sense of that women are leaving and breaking the hearts of good men.
Tarnishing.
So
Yeah.
now these good men are so heartbroken that they can never give their heart to another woman again because the last woman ruined them.
I agree with Jazz. I don't feel like no man should never either a man or woman should allow them to make them feel that way. But I feel like it goes back to communication. If you feeling like that, you tired, baby, say that. And then I'm gonna tell you this: if I ain't getting no coochie like I feel like I don't need, so I'm gonna let you know that. But if it ain't coming together, I'm only gonna say it but so many times. You know, I only can say it but so many times. After that, then something got to be done. I told you though. I don't feel like communication is really the biggest thing when I think it comes down to it.
Yeah, I mean, that's easy. For example, if a guy is not getting any sex in his marriage, he can talk to his wife. Okay, sure. Doesn't mean she's going to give him any. That's not as much of a big issue as if she divorces him when he has been doing the best he can. So that man is ruined. He's never going to think about marriage again the same way. I think that's why the divorce rate for second marriages is 75%. For the first one is 50%. Because usually, I think, I don't know for sure, but I think in the second divorces, I think usually the man can even file for divorce if he didn't file the first time because he doesn't want to deal with the same BS. So that's how good men are ruined, because if he's divorced for stupid reasons and he loses his house, he loses his kids, tell me how that man is going to be a good man again. Tell me how he's ever going to trust a woman again. Tell me how he's ever going to go back into the whole marriage thing again. Never.
Well, to answer, a lot of men are reaping their own karma, and y'all might disagree with me on this. Men spend the latter years of their life being players, playing women, having multiple women, cheating on multiple women, and then they'll decide to give one woman a chance, and I'm gonna do right by her, and she give you a little taste of your medicine, and now you playing the victim, and now your heart broke, and now your heart out your pocket, and now you salty because you finally got a taste of what you've been doing to women for years.
Karma's not real. Don't believe that shit.
I agree.
All this stuff
I
is
do
just
believe
myths.
so the universe will return what you put out into it.
That's how it works.
Not true.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying, a lot of men finally give a relationship a shot.
Yeah, but that's not always the
and then
case,
they get a
though.
taste of their own medicine. Now you ruined me, and I'm a good man. Now I can't never love again, even though I done cheated on all 25 of my girlfriends, and I decided to be faithful to the 26.
You can't cheat on somebody that you're not married to.
Anton, stop it.
You can't.
So if your current wife would have slept with another man, wife,
You wouldn't have married her.
You still would have wiped her?
No, she was a virgin. He wouldn't.
You wouldn't have. So stop it. It's only men can have sex with multiple women. Basically, is what you're saying.
One key can fit in multiple locks, can't it?
Anton, stop it.
We got.
Can it not?
That is the fifth grade response.
No, but it won't match.
That is.
Y'all
Y'all don't listen to Anton. So a man can sleep with multiple women and cheat on his girl as long as they're not married. But let her go out and get her some new a dangling. Then she a hoe, and now you can't wife no more.
Exactly.
Now she's tainted. Stop
Yeah,
it.
standards is always different between.
To answer the question, I feel
it's
like
not even a question. Like we don't even think about women the same way that y'all do. Listen, man, y'all
do women make men?
Even the fact that you want to go out there and get another guy, like that's all emotional bullshit. You doing that just to be sassy and ugly. You're not even doing that because that's what you really want. And so that's what makes it bad. That's what makes it disingenuous. And I think that most men, 99% of all men at some point need to get their heart broke because they need to understand the nature of a woman. They're all bad. They're all bad. All women are bad actors. Here's the difference, though. Some men cover that back. Some men make you better, and they ensure that you don't be out here looking stupid and fumbling and stuff. The difference between a great woman and a basic woman is the man that she's with. The way that y'all qualify yourself, there's never been a great woman by herself. Nobody gives a fuck about a woman by her. We don't even fuck with Oprah. You know?
Yeah, because usually a great woman is probably going to be married. Men are going to be dying to marry her, if we're going to be honest. Men are gonna be dying to marry her. But also, I had an issue with what Jess was saying because it's like once a man gets his heart broken, women don't take it serious. They blame him for getting his heart broken. They say he should move on. But once these women get their hearts broken, oh my God, men are bad. Men should understand. Oh, give us some time. Oh my God, you should be kind to her. But once a man's heart is broken, they're like, who hurt you? Oh my God, move on. It's the past. It's just crazy, the double standards, how they don't really care about a man going through pain and going through hardships. Even when the guy has been divorced and his shit has been taken, they say the woman, he deserves it. If a woman cheats on a man, they say, what did he do wrong? He must have done something for her to make her cheat. But if the reverse happens and the man cheats, men are the worst. How could you do that to a good woman? Even if she wasn't giving the husband sex and he cheated, they would still blame him. So it's that double standards that are crazy. But anyway, shout out to Anton Daniels, link down below. All right, next up, we have the PF Network. So let's get into it.
Graduate degree, that's their master's degree. There is 65% of women obtain their postgraduate degree, which is a doctorate degree academically, not just an honorary doctorate, but going to get it academically. So that means what? Sisters are back in school full time. Not only that, but Black women are overrepresented in what? In the healthcare industry. And guess what industry they're getting their degrees in, y'all? We're getting our degrees in law, health, and hold on, the last one is what I love, public policy, which means we are revving up to do what? Run for office. So Black women are starting to have a different agenda, and we are starting to apply ourselves and not just make it a conversation piece. And so it may look like we have less employment, but we're also setting ourselves up to have much more of a future than we would have ever had in the past. Black women are also starting to have kids in their 40s versus back in the day. There was a big, I don't want to say epidemic, but epidemic of Black women having kids in their teenage years, which was then, not allowing them to go on and create this future. So being that they are having kids later, that means what? They're becoming more career driven. We are career driven women who are saying we will create and build before we go and have a family so that our kids are born into equity and not into deficit. I am proud of us sisters. Go sisters, go Black women. I see you, I love you, and I am you, and I appreciate it.
Women are creating a future of leadership, opportunity, and empowerment.
Hey, to that sentiment, I say, good luck with that shit. I understand the whole building thing, but we've been going over this for the last couple of weeks. I don't understand why it is that Black women are taught that having a man, having a family is going to be a hindrance to their lives, when everybody else sees it as an asset, a benefit. This is why you see the epidemic of them being single. I didn't hear her mention any of the stats of, the lowest marriage rates, period, or anything like that. She didn't mention any of that part. She's just talking about how, they're having women later. People don't understand how expensive those procedures are, and it's not practical for your average person. So there probably is a subset of women who will be successful at that, but it's absolutely nothing realistic to aim for. I think it's silly for that to and then you have to also think about it. Once women are of that age, once you start waiting around until your 40s, your pool shrinkens, right? And it's for two reasons, because women of that status tend to be annoying when it comes to dating. It is what it is. And secondly, they become less desirable. It's no secret that women fall off after a while. Men do too, but if you look at the numbers, after 35, you're talking about a lot of issues. It's not a good look. It's a really stupid philosophy. And if that's what you want to do, go ahead and do that. But I think it's shameful for us to encourage Black women on a path that's destined to fail, extremely likely to fail. I didn't hear any numbers about success rates from her, and there's a reason for that.
I think.
Yeah, she didn't even talk about, she talked about how they're getting all these degrees, but she didn't talk about the student loan debt, how big the student loan debt they have going on. She didn't talk about how majority get degrees that really like in arts and things like that. And then she didn't talk about how the single mother household rate has become ever since, they chose careers over marriage, because all the stats that she mentioned in the beginning, they have not been helpful to the community. The community is not better in any way when it comes to family, and we know family is the foundation of building a community. Man and woman with kids at home, because it's more of separation. They get the degrees to be independent of men. They don't get the degrees to join and build generational wealth.
That's a beautiful thing. I think that a part of the reason that a lot of women feel like that is their first and foremost priority is just based on the way we were raised as kids. A lot of times in the Black household, whether you're raised in a two-parent home, actually, I feel like it's kind of a little bit more prevalent if you're raised in a two-parent home than it is if you're raised in a single mother home. Little girls are told, like, don't worry about a boy. You don't need a boy. Don't get distracted by a boy. Go to school, go to school, go to school. And culturally speaking, we push that narrative on our children, and men protect their daughters so harshly from other men throughout their entire adolescence. And then when those little girls grow up, we have the same men turning around and looking at their wives and saying, like, well, why aren't I your first priority? But it's because a man also told her, don't make a man your first priority. Make your
I mean, I agree. Yeah, they tell them to make career their first priority and not make the man their first priority, but somehow they keep making babies with men. So how are you going to tell me they told you not to make a man your first priority, but somehow you can have 3 kids with 3 different men? That doesn't make any sense.
career your first priority. And I'm not trying to necessarily place blame, but I think what happens in that particular aspect is men are kind of talking out of both sides of their mouths because they don't ever think that their little girls are going to grow up and be somebody's wife, and you don't see your wife as somebody's little girl, but they're synonymous. With that being said, I think a woman that goes to college and puts her career first also is super important. It's great to be goal oriented and driven, and I don't understand why particularly it's only a bad thing when a woman is that. I think that a lot of times we as a people have spent time saying, okay, we would like to be looked at fairly and equally, right? So then a conversation started a few years ago about, well, what do women bring to the table? So then a bunch of women started saying, let me go get some stuff to bring to the table, since the men are telling us, what do we bring to the table? And then women started saying, well, now I bring a PhD, I bring a bachelor's, I bring a car, I bring a house. And then men started saying, that doesn't matter. That's not what we're looking at you for.
Yeah, because that's not what men want. When men say, what do you bring to the table? They're not asking you to bring money, because they know you already expect them to make money and to provide no matter how much money you make. Even women who make millions of dollars want men who are going to pay their bills. Men already know that. That's not even a question. When men say, what do you bring to the table? They're expecting you to say, I'll be able to clean. I'll be able to cook for the family. I'll be able to nurture the kids. I'll be able to be, I'll bring peace. I can motivate you, encouragement, be someone you can rely on. Okay, sure, you're going to provide, but if you can't make it, I can chime in. Those are the things men are saying. They're not saying bring your degrees, because they know they're going to be the sole providers.
That's not what's important. Why is it only important when a man has it? It should be just as important for a little girl to be able to aspire and see herself on the television and see herself in politics and see herself in tech as it is for a young Black boy to see himself in all of those spaces. We should not do what I believe other cultures do to us, which is move the goalpost once we have achieved something. If another culture shouldn't do that to a Black man, why should a Black man do that to a Black woman? Thank you.
Okay, so my opinions are not very popular, especially among women. I feel like it's a generational thing for me because I'm Gen X, so I look at things completely different. I don't feel like I think women put a lot of focus on their careers and education and all those things, and I think that's a beautiful thing if that's what you want to do. But I think they're doing it for themselves, you know, and then they wait till later in life to try to have children. And I have friends now that have doctorates and they waited so late to have children. Now they can't have children and they're very upset about it. And I think that it's okay if you want to be career driven. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't hear me say that. But I think it needs to be balanced. Like, you know, still, if you want to be a mother or a wife, some people don't want to be a mother or wife, but if you want to be a mother or wife, you need to start looking into that sooner than in your 40s because it's a very selfish thing to want to become a mother at 40 when your quality of life is different. You're not going to want to chase behind children that late in life. You think you will, but you won't. You have to be a mother to know that. And you know, I know, ladies, I don't know how you feel about this, but men really don't care about your degrees and stuff because it's a lot of women that say, I'm educated, I'm beautiful, I got a nice body, all this stuff, and he go and choose this woman over me. And men are really choosing the woman that bring them peace, right? And I'm not a pick me. I know women, soon as you say something that's contrary to what women believe, they call you a pick me. But that's
Yeah, they're gonna call you a pick me mama. The moment you say anything positive about men, or the moment you say anything that shows you understand what men want from women, they're gonna call you a pick me. Unfortunately, mama, thank you for at least understanding what men are saying or men want from women, but other women are gonna call you a pick me. You know, because what you said is absolutely spot on. Like, women go to these colleges and get all these careers to make money for themselves. They don't do it for men. You know, they do it to be independent. Independent of who? Independent of men. So at the end of the day, they do all these degrees, get all this money, and then at 45, they think God is just gonna put a husband in their laps. Yet even when they get all this money, they still want that the Prince Charming God is gonna give them to pay for all the bills. So it's like, so you made all this money, but you want the man to still pay for your bills, so it doesn't make sense.
not what I am. I'm just a realist. And I understand that our education is important, but it's mostly important to us. It's not important to other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever you do for you. It's not for the man. It's not for, you know, any of that stuff. That's what you do for yourself, you know. And I'll expound on that later as we go into the conversation, but I'll land right there.
When she was talking, she didn't say like, oh, us ladies, we're waiting later to get married and start families. She said, we're having our babies at 40 and bringing them into not legacy. She said something about not deficit, but something the other word, I don't know. But anyway, she said, we're bringing them into something good instead of bringing them into deficit. Where did the men come in? She didn't talk anything about men. She's talking about Black women's only, as if Black women's are the entire community. But when it comes to having children later, I think it is a good thing that people are having their children a little bit later. But 40 is way too late to start having children. If you're blessed to have many children throughout your 20s, 30s, and you end up having more babies in your 40s, that's one thing. But starting your family at 40 is a huge risk. You don't even know if you're going to have proper children. And then you're starting at that age. You only have like 1 or 2 years in your 40s that you can, it's silly. It's very silly. But anyway, the other thing is the Lashia, she said that, what did she say? She said so much. She said something about, hold on. I'm trying to remember. She said it was good. And why do women kind of get put down for doing the same thing men do? Why is it good when men do it, but it's seen as a negative when women do it? The reason why that conversation is so detrimental is because when men were asking women about this table thing, they only said that when women said that they were equal. Because men never really expected women to show up as men. Men expected women to show up as women. And when women heard, what do you bring to the table? What makes you equal?
they started listing off masculine things that made them equal to the men.
Yeah, the whole what you bring to the table, honestly, she's right. Men didn't start asking what you bring to the table until women say they're equal to men. Until women said they don't need no man for nothing. Until they said, they can do anything a man can do. So men are like, oh, so you're equal to me? Okay. I bring my money. I bring this. What are you bringing? And then women take offense. Any man who asks a woman, what do you bring to the table? You're lucky if you don't get slapped by the woman because they don't like that question. And then they think when a man asks what you bring to the table, they think he's talking about money. No, he's asking, okay, my role is to provide. What are you going to bring? I'm going to provide. What are you going to do? Because most of them, let's be honest, don't know how to cook because they're not taught how to cook. They don't know how to clean because they were not taught how to clean. They don't know what being peace to a man is because all they watch is the love and hip hop and Cardi B and Sexy Red and being ratchet, if I'm going to be honest. So what do you guys think about that? Link down below to Lapeef. Till next time. Okay, next I'm going to do this video of a woman saying men should accept kids that don't belong to them even after DNA shows that the kids don't belong to them. This is crazy, guys. Let's get into it.
Has been raising for 3, 5. How can a man walk away from a child that he has been raising for 3, 5, 10, 15 years simply because the DNA test shows that he's not the biological father? Hear me out here. I'm not being insensitive. I know that his world has just been turned upside down. I know he feels betrayed. He's devastated. I empathize. I sympathize with his predicament. However, how is one able to walk away from a child that one has bonded with, loved, nurtured, poured blood and sweat into, simply because the DNA test shows that you're not the biological father? I understand getting rid of the wife or the girlfriend. The word I actually want to use starts with a W and rhymes with sure. Get rid of the W. But the children or the child, the innocent child, it is flummoxing to me.
You don't get it because you're a woman. You don't get it because if those were your kids and then the man finds out those were not his kids, you want him to continue taking care of kids that don't belong to him because you as the mother, you benefit. That's why you don't get it. I mean, the lack of empathy for the man who had to invest his time. In fact, I believe they should put a law that if a man finds out he has been providing for kids that don't belong to him and the woman lied, she should pay up every single dollar he spent on those kids. Because the emotional trauma he's going to have for the rest of his life. That's a man who can never trust a woman anytime. And that's why men are saying, let's put mandatory DNA test during birth in the hospital. So we don't have to come out of the hospital and then we have to go back for DNA. No, as soon as you give birth, the nurse takes the baby, they do a DNA test to figure out that that's my kid. But women don't want that because they know, some of them, the kids don't belong to the guy they claim is their dad. But this woman really wants guys to just continue to pretend like nothing happened and keep investing on kids that don't belong to them, while the real father is out there creating more kids.
Now, I'm not a man, and I do not know how this impacts men.
Of course.
I also know that there's deep shame. But were I in that predicament, of course I would be devastated. I'd be hurt and betrayed. But then I'd let the children know, or the child know. You may not be my biological child, but you're still my child. I love you. You're my child in my heart. I've bonded with you. I've raised you. So nothing changes. Now, I know a lot of men worry about, oh, then I have to continue paying I have to pay child support now that we're not together. So what?
What do you mean, so what? So you're saying the kids don't belong to me and I have to continue paying child support? This woman is probably the ruthless, most selfish, the most unkind woman I've seen on the internet. She's literally saying, so what? When a man is paying child support for kids he knows that have been determined by DNA don't belong to him? Yo, what the fuck is going out here? Like, I get it, you're a woman, you never understand, but for you to expect a man to continue paying child support for kids that don't belong to him? Guys, you gotta be careful. Because if this is your baby mama and she lied that the kids belong to you and yet they don't belong to you, she's gonna put you on child support even if the kids don't belong to you. You better watch out.
I pay the child support because you know what? Even though everything has changed, nothing should have changed because it's still the child that I raised, bonded with, and loved. And in an attempt not to pay child support, one ends up cutting off one's nose to spite one's face because you got to look at the big picture, the relationship with that child.
Who cares?
Continued relationship and the ability to go ahead and raise and nurture that child because you already have that bonded relationship.
Who cares about the bond? The bond is gone as soon as I find out they know my kids. I would rather go to the orphanage. I would rather adopt a kid that is not biologically mine and take care of that kid because I already know the kid is not biologically mine. Any man would rather that than to be lied to that the kid belongs to you and the kid doesn't belong to you. Any man would take that over paternity fraud. And she's expecting you to continue paying child support like as if nothing happened. This woman is ruthless.
But once again, because I'm not a man, I do not understand.
So you shouldn't speak
how
on it.
Anybody can walk away from a child. Story time. My husband had a boss about 20 years ago. This gentleman's son had some medical issues. And to make a long story short, he found out that his 19-year-old son was not his biological child. Needless to say, he was devastated. But you know what? He had raised this child for 19 years, was paying for college. This was his son, and he was not going to let him go. And my heart broke for him, but I was so proud of this man.
That man is a dummy. That man is a dummy. And that man shouldn't be used as the role model to men out here. That you take care of kids that don't belong to you, even when you know they don't belong to you, even when you are lied to. That man is a dummy.
Because he did not walk away from his child. And I think at times some men might think walking away from the child is a way to punish the woman for her betrayal. But at the end of the day, the person you're hurting is the child.
It's not a punishment.
I can't help but wonder, won't you be traumatized as a person walking away from someone that you've bonded with, that you've loved? For the man, isn't that traumatic? I mean, I really do not understand. I just cannot relate.
Because you're a woman.
And once again, I'm not a man. I'm sensitive to the hurt, to the pain, to the betrayal. But is it right to walk away from a child
Yes.
you're bonded with?
Yes.
Simply because the DNA test shows that you're not the biological father.
Yes, it's right.
Food for thought.
If this woman was my mama, I would take a DNA test myself. I'm not kidding. If she was my mom, I would take a DNA test to make sure that the person she says is my dad is my dad. She's smiling because to her it's funny. She's smiling because she's the woman. She knows she's the mom. Like, women never have to worry about who the mom is because it comes from them. But she expects the man to just accept any kids once DNA comes out that he's not the father. Like, any person watching this, if this is your wife, this is your girlfriend, this is your baby mama, please and please run to the nearest DNA testing center and do a DNA test with your kids. If this is your wife and you have kids with this woman or your baby mama, please take your kids for DNA testing. Because this is scary. And some of you guys, your moms told you that who your dad is, who you think your dad is not your dad. You need to do a DNA test too. All right? But what do you guys think about that? Till next time, peace.